Well, good afternoon and welcome to Magnolia State weather. We're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning up north now for DeSoto County and for DeSoto County, for Marshall County, for Fayette County, Tennessee, and Shelby County, Tennessee. So, two northern counties in Mississippi already under a severe thunderstorm warning tonight. If you know anybody up there near the Memphis area, a strong storm moving through with possibly 60-mile-an-hour wind gust moving through. Here's a look from Olive Branch, Mississippi. There at Mississippi 302 and US 78. You can see the winds rocking around the camera just a little bit. That's what the view is there from Olive Branch right now. As we look around in terms of what we're expecting tonight, really, it's a story about North Mississippi. We have a slight risk for severe weather across North Mississippi, primarily north of Highway 82, and then a marginal risk down towards Highway 82 that includes Greenville, Greenwood, and Starkville. We will actually pull that up, and we'll go ahead and we'll look at that here in just a second. Let's go ahead and look at the severe weather outlook for the day. This yellow area, the yellow region that includes Hernando, New Albany, Oxford, Grenada, Clarksdale, that is going to be your slight risk for severe weather. And now this green area, the dark green, that spans Corinth, Tupelo, Starkville, Yazoo City, Philadelphia, that is a marginal risk for severe weather. And then down farther south towards Interstate 20, Jackson, Meridian, Hazelhurst, Laurel, you are under a risk for just general thunderstorms, no severe weather down there south of Interstate 20. So anyways, looking back up north, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in Arkansas towards Forest City. That's going to move off to the southwest towards Mississippi. That's going to move off towards Oxford, towards Hernando, towards Clarksdale. That's off in the future. What we have right now, though, is up to the north. We have a severe thunderstorm warning just inside of Mississippi for South Haven and for Olive Branch. And this is also going to move south towards Holly Springs. This storm is moving south at about 30 miles an hour, if I had to guess. Let's take a look. Right now, it's moving southeast at 35 miles an hour is what they have it labeled as. So looking at it right now, planning that out for you as this storm moves off to the south. We have this getting towards Byhalia by 5:44. Let's bring up the rough timing on these storms. Byhalia 5:44, the Industrial Park 5:40, Piperton 5:44, Holly Springs 6:07 is the rough timing on those storms there, with that severe thunderstorm warning up in North Mississippi. Remember, if you're watching on Facebook, look up Magnolia State Weather on YouTube, and you'll be able to find us and get any severe weather updates that you'll need. Make sure you tell people about Magnolia State Weather and send them over to YouTube or to Facebook. Just making sure we have everything in place. I hope y'all are having a good afternoon. Welcome in. Make sure to put something in the chat. I think my mic is maxing out just a little. Let me fix that. I think that should sound better right there as well. Thank you, Logan. It means a lot. It's going to be a long night just trying to tap into the North Mississippi severe weather coverage. I know that most of our people are in South Mississippi, but I'm really trying to focus on the whole state now in terms of severe weather coverage, at least. And so that's what we see across North Mississippi. We can actually pull up some of the cameras from across the area. Here's one of the cameras there in Olive Branch in DeSoto County, Mississippi 302 and US 78 there in Olive Branch. Camera really getting moved around pretty good with this storm right now. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are the primary concern. If we look off to the east, this is the same place looking off to the east. You can see the trees kind of being shaken around pretty good by the outflow of this storm right now, and some moderate rain already. Here's the view from Hernando just off to the west of that. No rain seen there in Hernando just yet. Let's see if we can get another view here from Olive Branch. Here's a view. You can see the power lines kind of shifting around. Trees going, kind of swaying around like a, almost like one of those, what's it called? Car lot, little blow things that like do the, you know what I'm talking about. The inflatable two-man. There we go. That's what it kind of looks like. But yeah, this camera is getting shaken up pretty good right there. If you're just now tuning in, welcome to Magnolia State Weather. You can see we have some new stuff figured out today. It's easier to see where the locations are of the cameras over on the side. I fixed that. And then we also have it now where I click on a camera and you can now see where it's at. So that's very good. I'm glad that we have that pulled up now. Whoops, sorry. Still playing around with these new toys myself. Got to get used to those. But anyways, that's where we're sitting at right now. 24 severe thunderstorm warnings across the country. One of those in Mississippi right now. And that's what we're looking at right now for DeSoto County and for, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to keep getting these counties up north. For DeSoto County and for Marshall counties up in North Mississippi. That is entering into Collierville, Tennessee right now. And that storm has just now reached the Byhalia area as it continues to the southeast by about 35 miles an hour. So we're going to continue to give you a rough timing there as it moves off to the south and west, or south and east. This will be over Holly Springs by 6:09, and then Lamar there in Benton County, 6:12 is the rough timing on that one. Storms have basically reached Highway 269 near Case. I can actually bring up a camera there from Case, Mississippi here in just one moment. Let's see what the conditions look like over there. Let's put that down there. Here's what it looks like there in Case, Mississippi. You can see the outflow out of that storm just now coming through. Wow. Visibility not that great right ahead of this storm. Wow. I think that's a lot of dust and some light rain moving across the camera right here. I think that might be mostly dust. Looking at it on the radar, here's what it looks like on radar. The camera is right here where the storm is starting to move over right now. So definitely some gusty winds ahead of this storm in the outflow, which is why it is severe thunderstorm warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds for the next 23 minutes. Let's honestly see if we can get another view here. Oh, sorry. See if we can get another view of this one just real quick, looking off to the west. Here's another camera from Case, Mississippi. You can see visibility not the greatest anymore out ahead of that storm. Really shaking around these traffic cams now. But that's the situation from Case and from Olive Branch as the storms really start to move through. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I will answer as many questions as I can, as quickly as I can, as these severe thunderstorms move through the area. If you're in Byhalia, right ahead of this storm, you will be seeing some rain and some gusty winds if they haven't already started in the next 4 to 5 minutes. Now, we've already seen gusty winds out here in Case, Mississippi, as seen by one of the sky cams over to my right. And so, out ahead of these storms, we're seeing very gusty winds, and it looks like the dust has settled there for Case, Mississippi, but the rain is moving in now, and that wind has not stopped. So that's going to continue on towards Mount Pleasant, Mississippi, and Sladen, Mississippi within the next few minutes. We'll continue to get views of these storms as we go. I'll see if we can find anything else. So here's a view from South Haven, Mississippi, of storms moving off from the north. Wow, let's look at this down here. Once again, this Case, Mississippi camera. Wow, it is really getting shaken around by the outflow out ahead of the storm. The main rain has not reached just yet, but it is certainly windy out ahead of it. How are we looking for Carthage, Mississippi tonight? Sorry, I'm messing with my microphone right now trying to get the volume control. I think it might be a bit loud. I think I might have messed it up a little bit. How are we looking for Carthage, Mississippi tonight? Well, Carthage is in a marginal risk for severe weather tonight, I believe. I can double check that real quick. Yes, Carthage, you're down here. Marginal risk for severe weather, almost in the general thunderstorm idea. Basically, you have about a 50-50% chance on seeing I'd say some thunderstorms tonight. I'd say you have roughly a 30% chance of seeing a severe thunderstorm tonight down there in Carthage. But if you do get some storms down there, just be aware wind gusts 70 miles an hour are possible if you get really directly hit by one of these storms. New flood advisory you can see in this green area near the Memphis Metro and even down towards Byhalia, Mississippi, Olive Branch, a new flood warning. That's what we have up north, and that's a flood advisory, sorry. And that's because urban areas are seeing some flooding already up there near Memphis. Hi, what about Ruth, Mississippi? Let's go ahead and see about Ruth, Mississippi. Still got to get used to some of these small towns. I know a good bit of them from South Mississippi, but I got to check for North Mississippi. Oh, that's in Lincoln County. You're good for the day. I don't even think you'll see, you probably won't even see rain tonight. You're good down there in South Mississippi. Oh, looks like the camera in Case, Mississippi, at least one of them went out, so we'll have to find something new there. We were watching these cameras go crazy up there in Case. Here we go again. Two of the cameras over on the sides, if you can't read them, are in Case, Mississippi. And if you're wondering where that is, it's basically Interstate 269 to the east of Olive Branch, south of Collierville, Tennessee. For those that have tuned into Magnolia State weather before, are we enjoying the new traffic cams over to the side? I think it adds a good bit to the broadcast. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna make sure that my mic is working properly. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I was turning my mic up. I didn't realize I was doing that. Okay, there we go. That should be a good level with the mic. It shouldn't be too loud for you guys now. If you're just now tuning into Magnolia State Weather, I ask that you make sure to like the live stream, make sure you share it, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. We are live on both Facebook and on YouTube right now at Magnolia State Weather. If you don't know who I am, I'm student meteorologist Ashton Champion here in Starkville, Mississippi at Mississippi State University. Well, I'm not live at the university, but that's where I'm studying. Storms have now made it to the other side of Interstate 269. So if you're in Tasca, Mount Pleasant, maybe even Victoria, Red Banks, this storm is moving right down the interstate towards you. So kind of giving you a rough timing on when rain will get there. I know that the outflow boundary is actually moving quicker than the storm itself, so it might have already gotten windy in those locations. It will start raining in Byhalia at any second. Tasca within the next 5 minutes. Mount Pleasant 551, the rough timing with that storm getting there. Mac 559, Red Banks 556, Atway 603, Hudsonville 606, Lamar 610 is your rough timing there. I know that we have a camera over there in Victoria, but I don't think it's a great view. We'll see what we can see as the storm moves in. Maybe we lost our camera over there as well. But, I mean, look at these cameras from Case. I'll bring this one back up. It is not a good storm to be in right now. It is absolutely coming down. Definitely winds of probably gusting over 60 miles an hour with this storm. Wow. It is coming down there on Interstate 269 to the west of Olive Branch and south of Collierville. Let's once again go to Olive Branch, see if we can find we could see what's going on in the middle of this storm. Out ahead, we are seeing some fairly rough conditions. So we'll just stay on these case cameras. I think that's really showing you the worst of the worst so far in there. They just updated this severe thunderstorm warning. It is now a 70-mile-an-hour severe thunderstorm warning. That is considered considerable there in DeSoto County and for Marshall County. That's what we're looking at right now with those cameras. 70-mile-an-hour winds in this storm. You can really see it right here. I mean, it is coming down. It is bad. People are parked under the overpass. Now, don't do that. Uh, do not park under the overpass, at least blocking the interstate. Maybe if you get over to the side, that's fine. But make sure you are not blocking the interstate when you get under an overpass like this. But you can see these winds. You're not playing around with these winds right now. It is absolutely coming down in these storms. They have just crossed over Interstate 269. Now, you can see where they are. They have entered into Case, Mississippi now. Wind gusting in Tasca and Byhalia. Those have reached Victoria. They're basically following along Interstate 22 right now, heading towards Mississippi Highway 311 and down towards Holly Springs. This storm will more than likely make it to Holly Springs within the next 15 minutes. Out ahead of this, we have Holly Springs, Ashland, Michigan City, Lamar. So that's what we're dealing with there. 70-mile-an-hour wind gust with a considerable thunderstorm is what the National Weather Service in Memphis has labeled it. That is the only severe thunderstorm we have in Mississippi right now. If you're wondering what I keep looking at over here to my, I guess this is my left, but it looks like the right on the live stream. This is where I'm looking at all of our cameras, making sure we can show you guys what is going on. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not really expecting Jackson to see any rain today. It looks like you guys are far enough south where you probably won't see much. Jackson Metro has really been dodging all the rain, whether that's good or not. And unfortunately, now it looks like our Case, Mississippi cameras just went down. Both cameras just went out at the same time. So that is not good there. Just seeing if I can find us anything here. I feel like I always try to emphasize that the best way to explain to people how the conditions are is to show it to them. We have 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts going on in this storm. And unfortunately, I mean, I guess a good example is it just took out two of our cameras there in Case, Mississippi. So that's what's going on there in North Mississippi now. Unfortunately, it looks like we're losing power in areas, possibly trees going down on power lines. So that's the kind of weather that we're seeing across North Mississippi, where you're seeing lightning possibly hitting a tree, taking it down, maybe hitting power lines, and all that stuff going on. So if you're in the severe thunderstorm warnings tonight, you need to take them seriously because, I mean, it's just one of those days where, sure, it's a slight risk for severe weather. Sure, we're not talking about tornadoes. However, these storms are packing 70 plus mile an hour winds, which are extremely destructive, can knock down power lines, and can knock down trees. Remember, if you have any questions, make sure you put them down in the chat. I'll be happy to answer anything you may have. There we go. And so, like I said, unfortunately, we did see power get taken out over there in North Mississippi over towards the community of Case. Now, that is in northern Marshall County. That is now past that area. This storm has now reached Tasca, Mount Pleasant, Byhalia, and Victoria. Like I said, if you're in Red Banks, Mahon, Mack, Attaway, Sladen, I would consider getting inside fairly quickly, as this storm has 70, 75-mile-an-hour winds within it. It is considered a considerable storm by the National Weather Service. So now, if you're out ahead of this, like in Holly Springs, in Ashland, Potts Camp, Blue Mountain, you have a little bit of time to prepare, but this storm is going off to the south and east at about 35 miles an hour. Rough timing is Lamar 607, Holly Springs 607. I'd honestly give it a little less time than that. Ashland, Mississippi 622. Faulkner 645, Ripley 647, Blue Mountain 644. This will be towards Potts Camp at about 617 as well. Are the storms west of Tunica going to remain strong? More than likely. I would not be shocked if we see a severe thunderstorm warning over here for Tunica within the next few minutes. And speaking of, I know that we have some views over there for Helena. So we'll get a good view of the conditions over there towards Helena and West Helena, Arkansas, as well as Lula, Mississippi, looking off to the north. So we'll keep an eye on that storm as well. Over here towards Corinth, north of Corinth, Mississippi, we have a special weather statement for 50-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-size hail. That's what we're seeing just up to the north of it. Now, that is moving to the southeast in a way that I think that storm, honestly, will mostly stay in Mississippi. It might clip Kendrick, the community of Kendrick up there, but I think you'll be fine. Maybe this gets down towards Burnsville and Iuka, but I think for now we're good on that storm up above Corinth, Mississippi. Anything coming for Jasper County? No, I think you are good tonight for Jasper County. You probably won't even see any rain. Remember, if you know anybody in North Mississippi, make sure you share Magnolia State weather and tell them, hey, give us a chance and tune in. A growing social media platform for weather across Mississippi and South Louisiana, brought to you by student meteorologist Ashton Champion. Hello. We're just trying to grow something great across the state of Mississippi, considering weather coverage is not always the best or the most informal. Informal, I meant what? Informative? Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Sorry. Anyways, like I said, back to this storm. We're about to see a severe thunderstorm warning extended out ahead for Ashland and for Ripley, and more than likely for Holly Springs. I'm expecting us to see a new severe thunderstorm warning sort of like this in the next little bit, which would include Holly Springs, Ashland, Ripley, and New Albany. So if you're in those areas and you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning just yet, be prepared. More than likely, you will get a severe thunderstorm warning within the next 5 to 10 minutes at this point. We'll see impacts towards Ashland, Mississippi within the next 30 minutes. Meanwhile, back to the storm that I was talking about over here, Helena, West Helena, Arkansas, moving down Highway 49 about to cross the river. This is going to impact Lula and Coahoma County here in the next little bit. Community of Rich and Rose Acres will be impacted as well within the next few minutes. Now, if you want to know when this will make it to your area, let's see. When this will make it to your community, if you're up ahead of this. I'm sorry. Don't know what's going on with our tool there. Let's retry that. So here we go. Rough timing is going to be Lula 611. Helena, this is already over you right now. Falcon 632, Sledge 633 is the timing on that. And so that's the new severe thunderstorm warning there for Coahoma County. And now I know that we have a good view of this one. Here is the view from Rich, Mississippi there, Coahoma County. We're looking directly into this storm up to the north. So that's what we're seeing off in the distance, that very dark, that darkness up on the screen. That is going to be your severe thunderstorm up there. Here's what it looks like in Helena, Arkansas. Look at this. This is looking over the Mississippi River Bridge. You can see that dust getting picked up by the outflow boundary out in front of the storm. I can show you where this camera is. We're basically right here. I'm going to circle it on the map in pink. That camera is right here. Right there's where that camera is, looking off to the east. So we're looking right into it. The outflow boundary off of this storm is moving up ahead and kicking up dust. That is what we're seeing there on the camera. We'll pull it back up and you can see more dust being picked up. And really, it got really dark very fast, but you can see the dust getting kind of picked up out ahead of this storm as it races off to the east at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. It went from daylight to pure pitch darkness within 2 minutes, right there near the Mississippi River, right barely in Arkansas. So that's conditions that are moving into the state now along U.S. Highway 49 towards Lula, Mississippi, there in Coahoma County. Looking back to the north, we still have this 70-mile-an-hour severe thunderstorm warning. That's for northern Marshall County. That's about to enter into Holly Springs. Giving you a rough timing on this storm as it continues to the south and east. Holly Springs, 6:09 is the rough timing. Really, I'd say more like 6:05, maybe even sooner. This is moving into Holly Springs as we speak. Lamar, Mississippi, you're in the same boat. It's moving into your area now. And I know it's been windy out ahead, but we're talking about the rain here with this storm. Now, Snow Lake Shores, 6:20 is the rough timing for you. I'd say be inside by 6:10. Ashland, Mississippi, 6:25. Blue Mountain, 6:46. Hickory Flats, 6:38. Potts Camp, 6:28. Blue Mountain, 6:46. Ripley, 6:50. And so that's roughly 50 minutes for that storm to get to you there in Ripley. I really think the storm might be moving a little bit faster at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. So we'll redo those calculations really quick. It'll be over Snow Lake Shores. Let's go with 6:18. Ashland, Mississippi, 6:23. Ripley, 6:44. Blue Mountain, 6:41. Hickory Flat, 6:33. I think, let's see, did I accidentally take off the cameras? I did. They are back now. Sorry about that. Sorry if you couldn't see them there for a second. And there it is. New severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of the storm that we were talking about. Ashland, Mississippi, Holly Springs, Ripley, and New Albany, all in this new severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Interstate 22 down, Holly Springs, like I said, Potts Camp, Hickory Flat, Myrtle, and New Albany. So the interstate included on that. If you know anyone commuting, I know it's a Saturday, but you still have people commuting from Memphis, maybe to Tupelo. I know that's a long drive, but a lot of people travel that route down there on Interstate 22. That's what the new severe thunderstorm warning is for. It is for 80-mile-an-hour winds. 80-mile-an-hour winds possible in this storm. It is considered destructive. 80-mile-an-hour winds. That is extreme. Those are winds that will take down trees that could blow you off the interstate. So 80-mile-an-hour winds there. If you know anybody there in Marshall County, Benton County, Tippah County, or Pontotoc County. I believe that's Pontotoc County. We double check what that final county is. That is Alcorn County. Sorry. In Alcorn County. Make sure you call them. Hey, tell them a very strong storm is heading their way. This is not your standard severe thunderstorm warning. This is a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. 80-mile-an-hour winds. Remember, a normal severe thunderstorm warning is issued with 60-mile-an-hour winds are possible. This has 80-mile-an-hour winds possible within it. A very serious situation as the storm moves through. Let's see if we have any view from Holly Springs. I know some of the cameras have been knocked out a little bit ago. Let's see if we have anything. I don't know if we do. Looks like we lost a lot of the cameras here along Interstate 22 already. We also had a camera there in Red Banks. Let's see if that one's still going. No, it looks like power may have already been knocked out of a lot of these cameras, which is unfortunate, but it tells us how strong these storms are. They're knocking out power and connection with these cameras at least. Wow. I'm honestly a little shocked about how strong these storms are. I don't think we were expecting storms to this quickly get up to 80 miles an hour. If you're just now tuning in, make sure to ask questions. That's how we get this information out there that we need. So remember, 80-mile-an-hour winds are what we're watching with this storm up here, entering into Holly Springs and Ashland within the next few minutes. Now, if you're out ahead of this, you have a little bit of time to prepare, but Potts Camp, 622, within the next really 10 to 15 minutes, you need to have everything inside. Ashland, 615, Ripley, 636, Dumas, 648, New Albany, 647. That's still the rough timing we have on these storms getting to you. Now, you need to be inside before that. 80-mile-an-hour winds possible within this storm. I'm going to see if these are observed. No, it is radar indicated. Looking at velocity, look at that. Oh my word, look at those winds out of the storm over Holly Springs. 80, 85, 90-mile-an-hour winds out of the storm base. Oh my word, that is insane. These storms are insanely strong. Look at that. The orange on the radar. We don't normally see that. I have yet to see that this month. 90-mile-an-hour winds out of the storm. You can see it there on the velocity radar. I'll pull it up. It is saying 90 to 95-mile-an-hour winds coming out of the cloud base. And now, one thing to notice is that we aren't far from North Memphis where the radar is. So, we're not very high off the ground with this reading. There's some extreme winds in here with this storm. Possibly way over 80 miles an hour, which is why we're losing all the cameras along Interstate 22. Any hail reports, I wouldn't be shocked if there is quarter-size hail in with this storm. And I know it's not warned for quarter-size hail, but whenever you have winds that strong and a storm that strong, I wouldn't be shocked if we have severe hail in that storm as well. Let's see if power has gone out. It looks like we have lost power there for Helena and West Helena, Arkansas. Here's the view of the storm there that's entering in towards Rich, Mississippi. That's in Coahoma County. You can see it just off to the top left of the screen, that darkness that we're starting to see. Now that's the storm moving in, and so it's going to be a minute till we get to really get a good view of these storms that are moving towards Ripley. But 80-mile-an-hour winds, it looks like we're going to see lots of power outages as these storms move across the area. If you're in Ripley, Ashland, New Albany, you have a little bit of time, especially there in Ashland. It's about to start pretty quickly. You need to go ahead. Honestly, in a situation like this, you got to stay away from the windows. Lots of lightning in that storm as well. What about Philadelphia, Mississippi? Good question. Philadelphia, I honestly think you're far enough south that you more than likely may not even see rain, but there for Philadelphia, just be aware you have a chance at some thunderstorms tonight. I'd say it's roughly a 20 to 30% chance, but if you do get hit by one and there's still energy that far south, you could get some gusty winds and maybe a severe storm, but the odds are low. Overall, I would just have a way to get alerts on your phone. Philadelphia is not in the main concern for tonight. Still warned for 80-mile-an-hour winds over there for Marshall County, Benton County, Tippah County, and for Alcorn counties. Let's look at the velocity once again. We're seeing instances of wind possibly over 100 miles an hour. Now, I know some of that might be radar static and could be false. I'd say for the most part, we're definitely seeing winds maybe 80, 90 miles an hour out of this storm. That's what we're looking at. And so this is the velocity product that we're looking at, which is what you normally look at for tornadoes. But it can also be used to find very strong winds within a storm that's not just rotation. And that's why we're seeing a huge outflow out of this storm, because all this rain is coming out and spreading in all directions, and there's just extreme winds falling out of the storm as it collapses down on itself there near Holly Springs. I would not be shocked if we see a good bit of damage over there in northern Marshall County. Another storm we're watching is over here for Helena and Helena West, or Helena and West Helena over there in Arkansas. This is now moving over towards Lula and towards Coahoma. We're watching the storm move south of Tunica and moving into Coahoma County, as well as Tunica County, Mississippi. So if you know anybody out ahead of the storm farther north, especially anyone near Ashland, Holly Springs, Ripley, New Albany, call and tell them, hey, there's a storm coming in. Heck, even if you do have somebody there in Holly Springs, maybe Byhalia, Olive Branch, if you know anybody in northern Marshall County, I would call in and check on them, because they have a pretty rough storm that just moved through or is moving through right now. Here's a look at the storm. They're now moving into Coahoma County and Tunica County. You can see it just right up ahead of this camera. Now, it looks like this camera is just a little off to the south of where the storm is crossing. You can see the rain, maybe less than a quarter to a half a mile right up the road. So this will be an interesting camera to watch. It'll be over there on the right-hand side. We'll see if any of those conditions start going downhill pretty soon. If you're just now tuning in, we have a very destructive storm moving through North Mississippi right now, from Marshall to Benton to Tippah and to Alcorn County is where that severe thunderstorm warning is. It is for 80-mile-an-hour winds that we're seeing, maybe even above 80-mile-an-hour winds with this storm. We have lost any chance of seeing it with any of these cameras because power has taken them out. Well, they have been taken out. They took out the power, let's put it that way. There's also another storm over here towards Coahoma and Tunica counties for a storm over Helena and Helena West, or Helena and West Helena. It might be Helena. I'm not sure. I need to look up the pronunciation on that. That is moving into Lula and towards Rich, Mississippi right now. Here's the camera we do have on that one. Power has not been taken out there, but you can see very gusty winds and heavy rain moving into the area right now. Starting to see a few storms pop up a little farther south. We have a storm north of Itabena and north of Greenwood over on 49 East right now over the community of Schlater. We'll continue to watch this one, but I think that one may stay weak. I don't know if it has the forcing there with it yet to stay alive. South Mississippi is good for the weekend, right? Yes, South Mississippi should be good. Well, not for the weekend. We'll go with tonight. There's actually a marginal risk for severe weather for South Mississippi tomorrow night that I will be covering. I haven't even been able to post about that one yet because I've been live. Reggie, thanks for the comment. It helps out. I like having support from people watching. We'll see what ends up happening tonight because I think we're going to see two major complexes. You're going to see the complex that's already moving through North Mississippi, through Marshall County. That's going to be our main complex to watch the start. It's already produced 80-mile-an-hour winds. Now, you have another complex forming north of Clarksdale that's entering into Coahoma County and Tunica County right now. That's also moving off to the south and east. That's going to be interesting. So it looks like we have two little areas that we need to watch for sure. These storms will eventually head towards Tupelo. I think that this first storm up here that's heading to the southeast will hit Tupelo now. How strong will it be there when we get there? I'm not sure. We still probably have another hour to hour and a half with that one. All right. Sorry, I was texting Hudson. Hudson's one of the guys that normally does this with me whenever we have tornadoes and stuff coming through. So he was texting me asking if I needed help. I told him I think I'm good. I don't even have a system where he can help just yet. But yeah, we might be seeing this storm up here towards Holly Springs and Ashland. Now, listen to what I'm about to say in full. I think it's starting to fall apart and weaken. Now, weaken is relative whenever it was producing 80-mile-an-hour winds, and it might still be. And the reason it might look like that this storm is weakening is because the reason it is having such extreme winds of up to 80 miles an hour or maybe above 80 miles an hour is because the storm is collapsing down on itself. So when a storm collapses down on itself, it produces extreme winds, but it's starting to look a little worse on radar in terms of how it looks. This is not a storm that necessarily from the naked eye would look very strong. So there's probably still 80-mile-an-hour winds in here, maybe even some large hail. But the good news is it looks like this storm might eventually start weakening as it collapses down on itself. Still plenty of lightning here, so lots of energy still in this storm. But for right now, it looks like in the long run, hopefully this thing does start weakening. Looking back over here towards Lula, Mississippi, and Coahoma for a storm that's moving into Coahoma County and into Tunica County right now. We might see a severe thunderstorm warning issued downstream. This is entering into Lula and Coahoma right now. So if you're out ahead of this, Marks, this will be there at 6:43, Falcon 6:35, Sledge 6:36, Crenshaw 6:38, Batesville 7:02, Cortland 7:06, Pope at 7:07. That's when that's kind of the speed we're seeing this storm move at, about 40 miles an hour or so. And so if you're out ahead of this, I would honestly expect a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued out ahead of this within the next few minutes. And it might look something about like this. And so you'll get a notification on your phone, more than likely, maybe even to Oxford. I don't think they'll extend the severe thunderstorm warning all the way out to Oxford just yet. But if you're in Sardis or in Batesville, be aware you should have a severe thunderstorm warning coming your way here before too long. That includes Quitman County, Lafayette County. I'm trying to remember all these other counties up here in North Mississippi. I'm not good with them just yet. That would be Tallahatchie County. And then Sorry, I'm trying to remember the county that Batesville is in, but I can't remember the name right now, and I'm not going to try to butcher it. But also areas like Sardis and Batesville, you should be put in a severe thunderstorm warning here very soon. Here's what we're looking at in Rich, Mississippi as the camera really gets shaken around. That's the storm that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it for Helena and West Helena, Arkansas. All right, let's see. Helena, West Helena pronunciation. It is Helena. Okay. No, wait. Helena, right? We're about to find out, guys. Helena. Yeah, it's Helena. Okay. Not Helena. Helena. So this is what we're seeing with that storm over there for Coahoma County. Back up north, towards Potts Camp. Holly Springs, you're really getting it right now in areas north of Holly Springs, like Lamar. Ashland, it should start going downhill fairly fast from here. If you're out ahead of this, Hickory Flats, Blue Mountain, Ripley, the storm's about to start within the next 5 to 10 minutes. New Albany, you have about 10 minutes till it starts and gets there. You might have some winds out ahead of this storm as well. Trying to go between two different storms we're watching right now. I know jumping around can be a little confusing at times. I'm sorry about that, but we're trying to keep an eye on all these storms right now because you have two different storms right now that could be causing different issues. The one up there towards Ripley and New Albany, or Benton and Tippah County, as well as Marshall County, 80-mile-an-hour winds possible in there. They just updated the warning for 70-mile-an-hour winds now, so maybe they don't think there's 80-mile-an-hour winds in that storm anymore, but it doesn't change anything. This is a very serious, severe thunderstorm warning that you need to be inside for if you're up there in those counties I just mentioned. Now, over here towards Coahoma and Tunica counties, this is south of the Tunica Airport. We have storms moving through Lula, through Rich, and through Coahoma right now. This is just north of Jonestown. This is moving towards Batesville and Sardis. Here's what we have in terms of a view for it. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't have a view for the storms to the north because power has basically taken out everything. But this is what the conditions look like over for that storm over there on the Coahoma-Tunica County lines. Definitely some very gusty winds in with that storm and some heavy rain. So where we're sitting overall is 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for North Mississippi. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, we are also live on Facebook. That's also where we post daily updates regarding our forecast until we go live, because it's only myself right now with Magnolia State weather, so I can't post while I'm doing the live stream. If you're watching on YouTube, I also ask that you consider liking and subscribing the live stream. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like and share and tell everybody in North Mississippi what we have going on. Looking back at the velocity, seeing these winds in here with this storm over Ashland, still seeing some extremely strong winds, 70 to 80 miles an hour in that storm. Still not seeing the 90s like we saw earlier out of the cloud base, but still seeing some extreme winds there entering into Ashland right now. And it's kind of interesting because you're not seeing very heavy rain in Ashland right now, but you're seeing some very strong winds entering in there in Benton County. Now, Ripley, you're just out ahead of this storm. It should be getting bad here fairly quickly. Wow, look at this back here in Rich, Mississippi. We're really under this storm now. People still somehow driving in it, but you see them with their flashers on. I assume they're only driving at about 15 to 20 miles an hour right now. Actually, a guy basically stopped there on the camera now, and we might have just lost the camera. Let's see if it comes back, but I think we might have just lost power there, or at least lost a connection for Rich, Mississippi. That's over there in Coahoma County, near the Coahoma-Tunica County lines. Yep, looks like we just lost that one there, unfortunately. So what does that make it? 3, 4 cameras we've lost while watching them. And so while we see if that comes back, new severe thunderstorm warning, like I mentioned earlier, that might get issued. That includes Sledge, Falcon, and Marks there in Quitman County. It also includes Sardis and Batesville out there for Panola County. So that is for quarter size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. That severe thunderstorm warning expires in 40 minutes. If you're out ahead of this storm, let's see how fast they say it's moving at. They say this one's moving at 40 miles an hour, so I can agree with that. Put it a little fast just in case. And so rough timing on this is Sledge 6:30, Falcon 6:30, Batesville 6:52, Sardis 6:53, and Cortland 6:56. That's your timing on these storms moving through for you. This one supercell that we're watching over south of Tunica. This is beginning to enter into Quitman County right now. This will be, like I said, over Falcon and Sledge within the next 10 minutes. Still no power, it seems like, in Case, Mississippi. Let's actually go ahead and let's look at the power outages across the region already. See if we have um, any numbers updated just yet. Go by county. Let's see what we're sitting with here. I don't think we have any updated numbers just yet. Yeah, no updated numbers here at least. I'll look here in a second and see if we have some numbers we can look at in terms of power outages. I think that'll be a good example of what's going on with these storms here. Let me see if I can get us some numbers real quick. Here's a view from Tupelo, Mississippi, looking out towards those storms real quick. Let me see if I can get us anything here. All right, here we go. Some updated numbers. We still have some outages in South Mississippi from last night's storms. Here's what it looks like. Let's bring these over. DeSoto County right now, a little over 5,700 outages across DeSoto County. That's roughly 7.5% of the county out. There are 5,742 outages for DeSoto County. Marshall County, 1,400 outages, roughly around 11% of the county. For Coahoma County, currently 110 outages. Tunica County, 18 as of right now. Those numbers will update as we go throughout the evening. Meanwhile, back to the radar. This is what we look like. New severe thunderstorm warning up just above Iuka and Burnsville, as well as Corinth. This is for southern Tennessee. This includes it includes Adamsville and Savannah, Tennessee. So that's just right off to the north of Mississippi. So 3 severe thunderstorm warnings in our area, but really only 2 for 2 storms that we have moving through. One of them was producing 80-mile-an-hour winds earlier, and if we go back to velocity, that's over Holly Springs and Ashland as we speak. Definitely looks like this storm is weakening. You remember how I mentioned earlier how luckily it looked like the storm was weakening relatively and looked like it was falling in on itself and didn't look as good on radar. Well, that's what we're seeing, because as we look at the radar now, you can see that the storm definitely not as organized as it was earlier. You're not seeing very heavy rain. Maybe you still got a little bit of hail in there, but you're not seeing like a huge area of heavy rain. And we'll go back. We'll look at the last hour with the storm. You can see about an hour ago, it looked way more potent and it became outflow dominant. You'll see out ahead of the storm, it kind of grows. So around right here, look and see how the front of the storm kind of leaves the back end of the storm. And so one thing you see is that it weakens fairly fast. You see a lot of greens out ahead of the storm. And so what that tells me is that the storm did collapse in on itself. That's why we saw 80-mile-an-hour winds, maybe even higher in this storm, is the storm collapsed on itself. It forced winds out ahead of the storm, which is what caused the 80-mile-an-hour gusts. But now the storm is kind of collapsed almost entirely. There's still heavy rain and lightning in there, maybe even still gusty winds. But overall, the storm is weakening, which is a good sign. But if you're still in Ashland or in Ripley, be considered there is a storm that still could produce 60 to 70-mile-an-hour wind gust moving in right now. Take this severe thunderstorm warning seriously. So anyways, back here, entering into Quitman County, we have this storm that's entering into Falcon and Sledge. Right now, this is just north of Jonestown by about a mile or so, and north of Clarksdale by about 5 to 10 miles. This will be entering into Sardis and Batesville in the next little while. Rough timing is Marks 6:39, Batesville 6:49, Sardis 6:51, and Cortland at 6:53. We'll see if this storm makes its way towards Oxford. Honestly, Oxford could get lucky because we could see a storm pass to the north of Oxford and another storm possibly pass just off to the south of Oxford. So we'll see if Oxford, Mississippi actually misses these storms this evening. Looking off in the distance from Saltillo, you can see the storm just off in the distance. That's what we're seeing is the big old cloud base in the distance is the one that we're watching that's moving through Ripley and Ashland right now. A better view from Tupelo, you can see that storm off in the distance, but still a good whiles away from Tupelo. If you're wondering why we're not looking at any of the cameras with any of these storms so far, is, well, they've taken out the power. We can't look into them. If you think that I've done a decent job tonight, make sure you like or subscribe to the live stream. Please tell people to check us out. And I know I'm young. Well, I guess I'm young. I'm 21. I'll take it. But we're trying to get Magnolia State weather started. So please get the word out there. Hey, you can get good Mississippi focused severe weather coverage here. We do cover South Mississippi as well, and also South Louisiana. The Florida parishes of Louisiana we do also cover. Our specialty is Mississippi. Definitely want to be focused in on what the weather is going on here instead of, hey, this is what's happening in Mississippi, and then coming back 30 minutes later. We like to focus in on the state. That is our focus. Looking back at the velocity product, you got some gusty winds entering into Ripley now, gusty winds entering into New Albany within the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's these bright reds at this point that we're looking at. These are going to be your gusty winds. They're over Ashland right now, basically over the entirety of Benton County as well. They just updated this severe thunderstorm warning. Only 60-mile-an-hour winds now with this warning, and it expires in 17 minutes. So yes, this storm does appear to be collapsing in on itself. Now, a little farther north over Spring Hill, Canaan, Brody, and Hopewell up in northern Benton County, you do have some pretty strong lightning, and you also have some fairly high levels on the decibel readings here. You have the purples on the radar. I don't know what I was really trying to go with there. Possibly some small hail falling along US Highway 72 up there in northern Benton County. So if you're in those communities I just mentioned, be aware you might have some hail still falling there. And that could move into northern Tippah County for Walnut. overall, it's very good that we're seeing the storm up farther north that was producing those winds earlier fall apart. That's very good to see there. The storm now that looks to be the strongest and at least can go for the longest is definitely the one over here that's basically on the Coahoma, Tunica, Quitman County line. Meanwhile, new severe thunderstorm warning. I was talking about how it still looked like we could have some hail on the northern end of that storm there in northern Benton County. Well, the National Weather Service agrees. The new severe thunderstorm warning that includes Bolivar, northern Benton County, northern Tippah County. So this includes areas like Middleton, Tennessee, areas south of Selmer, Tennessee. But then this also includes, let's get some counties on this. This includes northern Tippah County, northeastern Benton County, northwestern Tishomingo County, northern Prentiss County. It includes Alcorn County as well here in Mississippi. And that's for 60-mile-an-hour winds. And so if you're out ahead of the storm, we can give you a rough timing on when the storm will get there. We have Walnut 6:40. This will be there within 10 minutes. Corinth 7:07. Burnsville 7:24. And then it'll head towards Iuka, Mississippi by roughly 7:30. Kossuth 7 o'clock. If you have any questions, there can be no dumb questions. Only I ask dumb questions. Please feel free to put it in the chat. I will answer it as soon as I see it. All right, so the severe thunderstorm warning that was originally for 80-mile-an-hour winds that included Ripley and New Albany. Like I said, that storm did collapse down on itself. They have canceled the severe thunderstorm warning. So now just heavy rain and maybe a strike or two of lightning for Potts Camp and for Ashland. But that severe thunderstorm warning is now gone. Still looking at this severe thunderstorm warning over there in Quitman County. It is now entering into Panola County. It has reached Mississippi Highway 3. It is now going down Mississippi Highway 315 from Sledge, Mississippi to Sardis, Mississippi. So it'll be in Batesville probably within the next 10 minutes or so. If you're in Locke, Mississippi, the storm will be over you within the next 2 to 3 minutes. Cortland, Pope over there towards Interstate 55. This will be crossing over you within the next 10 to 15 minutes as well. I'm sorry if you keep hearing some squeaking. It's my chair that I'm sitting in. I really got to invest in a new one. So we still have two main storms that we're watching that are causing the biggest problems. You have a new severe thunderstorm warning north of Ashland, Mississippi. That's really going across the northeastern corner of Mississippi towards Corinth and Tishomingo. Corinth and Iuka, sorry, over there towards Tishomingo County. But then you have another storm that is now between Oxford, Mississippi and Helena and West Helena, Arkansas. That is now in northern Quitman County and entering into Panola County. Let's see. Let me see if I can get something real quick. Give me 1 second. I gotta make a text message. There we go. So, anyone that's watching, I see we have several people watching. Where are y'all watching from? I'm just curious. Curious as to where we have people watching from. Rain entering into New Albany now, entering into Boonville, right now as well, but also some more rain entering into Burnsville and Iuka. The primary storm is farther west right now, though, currently over Middleton, Tennessee, and Walnut, Mississippi. Look at this. We had a quick little thunderstorm over there towards Greenwood. It had a strike or two of lightning for a few minutes, and then it went away. So that kind of explains to you what the atmosphere is like right now um, towards the Highway 82 corridor. Just not enough to support thunderstorms for a significant amount of time right now. We're getting close to 7 o'clock, so we might get a sounding to see how the atmosphere is here in the next few minutes from Jackson, Mississippi. That'll be interesting to see. Sparta, Mississippi, Canton, Madison area. Yep, I know where that's at. Nice to see people watching from there. Not really anything really going to happen for Jackson tonight. Maybe you see a thunderstorm, but nothing bad expected down there for Jackson. Checking some things. We'll look and see how the power outages are going here in just a second. Let me pull up a camera so that I can change this real quick. And we'll look and see how the power outages are doing and what the updated numbers are with that storm that moved through Marshall and Benton counties just a little while ago. Lots of outages in Tennessee. Overall, 133,000 outages in Tennessee. Let me give you this number real quick. 131,000 outages in Shelby County. So that is the Memphis metro area for Tennessee right there. And then in terms of Mississippi for the Memphis metro area, in areas at least near Memphis, here's where we sit. We have 1,732 outages for Marshall County, and right at 6,000 for DeSoto County right now. 264 out for Tunica County, 125 out for Coahoma County. And so that's the numbers we have as of right now. So back to the radar. Still dealing with really 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, if we're going to be honest. Sure, it's 4, but you have the 1 severe thunderstorm warning really right here, the big severe thunderstorm warning. Then you have another big severe thunderstorm warning up here that includes Corinth. And so that's what we're dealing with. Technically 4 severe thunderstorm warnings, but really only 2 storms. No rain at your house in over a month. Wow. I know some people have really gotten unlucky with rain this summer, but others have gotten lots of rain across Mississippi. Anyways, looking back at the storm here that's over Sledge and Falcon, looks like this one could be weakening here soon. We had some purples on the radar a few minutes ago, but overall, definitely looks like this storm is weakening. We're not seeing as bright of reds in here with this storm. Definitely no more purples. So as the storm is over Sledge and Falcon, I know there's plenty of lightning here in northern Quitman County, but as it moves into Panola County towards Sardis and Batesville, this storm is still weakening. Now, that doesn't mean you won't see heavy rain over there towards Batesville, but definitely a weakening storm over there. We could see that storm fall apart within the next little while as well. Back up north for the severe thunderstorm warning that includes Corinth. Corinth, Mississippi currently has a storm over it with heavy rain and lightning. Maybe some small hail in there as well. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust is still the reason for the severe thunderstorm warning, but really looking at the storm itself, maybe you have some severe winds over Middleton, Tennessee, but also crossing over Mississippi Highway 370 from Ashland to Faulkner is where we might have some gusty winds still. I mean, you have some pixels in here that are consistently around 100 miles an hour up at the cloud base, so maybe you still have some gusty winds over 60 miles an hour in that storm, but it is still weakening, to say the least. Um, if you're in northern Benton or northern Tepa County, I would still consider staying inside right now as that storm moves through. Overall, let's see some radar estimates of rain. If we look at the storm total estimated rainfall so far, these numbers are probably going to be a little bit off. Roughly an inch over north of Holly Springs is the radar estimate. We have roughly 2 inches or so towards Memphis and Germantown. So that's the rough estimate with rain so far. Probably not the best estimates ever. We have an inch and a half towards Helena and West Helena, Arkansas, an inch and a quarter over towards Lula, Mississippi, and really that's the hard cut. I mean, you have an inch and a half there towards Lula, and then nothing over there for Coahoma. So that's kind of how it's going to go tonight. Same story from the other radar sites. So these radars are kind of on the same page with how much rain some of these areas are receiving. Let's go through what we still have going on right now. You still have the storm up here north of Ashland, Mississippi. That is severe thunderstorm warned for 60 miles an hour winds. You also have that one over Corinth right now as well. Maybe you have some gusty winds in there, but the primary concern as of right now is going to be 60 mile an hour winds and lightning is your primary concern right now as well. That severe thunderstorm warning expires in 33 minutes. You also have this other severe thunderstorm warning that's kind of been engulfed by a bigger severe thunderstorm warning that expires in 3 minutes. We'll see what the National Weather Service in Memphis decides there. I said it looked like the storm over Falcon and Sledge was weakening. Well, you still possibly have some pretty gusty winds in here. The radar's saying 120 mile an hour winds. Now, I don't know how true that is, but maybe you do have some pretty gusty winds up there, at least in the cloud, off this storm. Now, it's not necessarily raining in Jonestown and Marks right now, but possibly some very gusty winds on the storm once again as it nears Batesville and Batesville and Sardis, sorry. And I know I mentioned how it looked like the storm is weakening, so it might be doing what the storm to the north was doing, where it's falling in on itself, causing extreme winds just north of Marks as of right now, as it's about to cross over Mississippi Highway 3. So I think that might be what we see. We could see some extreme winds in this storm right now as we're speaking, moving into Marks and over the communities of Bellin and West Marks. So I think that's probably the situation we see right now with that storm. Is it's probably falling in on itself, so we could see some fairly strong winds in that storm in northern Quitman County. I'm not really talking too much. We're just kind of watching the same two storms as of right now. Not necessarily a whole lot going on. The severe thunderstorm warning up there that includes Corinth and um, Tishomingo County. I believe that one's probably going to get canceled in the next little bit. That storm is not looking as impressive as it did earlier. The storm entering into Panola County right now is trying to strengthen a little bit. It's keeping its lightning right now, but I have talked about how it seems like the storm is kind of falling in on itself. There could be some fairly strong winds on the backside of this storm, anywhere from 60 plus miles an hour. So that's why if you're in Marks there in central Quitman County, I would suggest being away from windows and being inside because it looks like the storm is collapsing in on itself. Lots of lightning. I continue to urge that if you are near one of these storms, you have lots and lots of lightning in these storms, and that's dangerous in and of itself. All it takes is one lightning strike to cause a fire or take out a tree. I apologize for going silent, but really not a whole lot we can talk about right now. The storm up here in um, Panola County has now made its way into Sardis. It's getting towards Batesville, following along uh, Highway 278. It's made its way over the Lock community. It is over Waldrop Road right now. It's made its way towards Quitman County Line Road and is making its way slowly east towards Asa, towards Chapeltown as well. The winds that we're worried about on this system on the backside are currently over Marks and West Marks right now, about to cross over the Coldwater River. This is about to cross over Riverview as well and crossing over Mississippi Highway 3 as we speak. Communities such as Bobo and Locke are in the path of this. Mims and Crowder, you're also next up in line for this storm and possibly for the winds on the back side of it. Farther north, Ripley, you have a storm over you right now that's following along Highway 4. Now is below severe standards, but still possibly some rogue strikes of lightning in there. Farther north, in the community of Walnut, you have a storm moving through right now. Looking at the velocity, it looks like the most concerning wind gust with this system is now mostly outside of the severe thunderstorm warning. You can see it right here. I'll circle it in yellow. See it right here. That's where your strongest winds are going to be, those bright pinks. And that's over Ripley right now. And so that's outside of the severe thunderstorm warning. So maybe you're seeing some wind gust of about 50 to 60 miles an hour with that storm. And I know you might not be in the severe thunderstorm warning, but that's where it seems like the highest winds are right now. So really, it seems like we're going to go down to one storm to really watch right now, and that's the one over in Panola County and in northern Quitman County. As it seems like really the ones up farther north towards Ripley and Boonville and Corinth have weakened a good bit. A few from Tupelo, as we're seeing those storms really make it closer and closer as we go throughout the evening. You can see very dark in the cloud base there already. Let's see the latest on the power outages across the area. Some people getting power restored there in Tennessee. We now have some updated numbers, up to 15,000 customers without power here in Mississippi. Quitman County, 722 outages, roughly 18% of the county. Marshall County, 2,353 customers out of power, 18% of the county. 13,000 customers tracked there. Union County, 584 outages, about 9% of Union County out as we speak. Coahoma County, 849 outages. Tunica County, 291. Now, if we track that by utility, North Central Electrical Cooperation with 7,387 outages. Entergy with 4,916. Northeast Mississippi EPA, 1,160. Southwest EPA, 961. Coahoma EPA, 450. So we're really starting to get a good view of these storms now as they near the Tupelo area. That's where we have um, more cameras readily available, of course. Looks like we'll probably have a good view here from Belden, Mississippi. Look at that. There we go. I knew we had a camera there. Belden, Mississippi. Look at that roll cloud moving in. This is at Interstate 22 and McLaughlin Boulevard. As that storm moves through, you just saw some good old lightning there as the storm rolls in. Now, it's not going to necessarily be the strongest once this roll cloud goes over, but I mean, that is, to say the least, beautiful as it moves over this camera. Saltillo, you can see that roll cloud moving over as well, just to the north. And you maybe even have a cold air funnel there just above the 4 in US 45. It looks like maybe there's a little cold air funnel there moving towards Saltillo. Nothing dangerous, but definitely something just cool there to see. Yeah, but here's what it looks like in Belden, Mississippi. This is just outside of Tupelo. You can see as that wall cloud moves through, that is a absolutely beautiful storm, to say the least. This is the storm that was producing 80-mile-an-hour winds earlier. Now it is weaker at this point, but a great view nonetheless. Here you can see it now from the Tupelo camera at US 45 and Easton Boulevard. That storm moving through. You can really see that moving towards Tupelo now. But overall, this storm is way weaker and is not a very big concern in Tupelo. Maybe some heavy rain and some lightning, but that's about it. Over Corinth and Farmington right now, possibly some small hail. If we look at the velocity product, maybe some gusty winds with a downburst over Corinth right now, but the primary concern is going to be hail and lightning still with the storm there over Corinth. That expires in 22 minutes. That severe thunderstorm warning is for wind. Looking at this Batesville and Cortland storm, still seeing some good old wind gust in there with this storm. Possibly gust over 60 miles an hour in there somewhere. Now, the most likely strong winds are over Bobo, Locke, and Curtis Station right now. That's there near the Panola County, Quitman County line. So lots of lightning with those storms as they move in. Here we're looking from Saltillo, Mississippi. This is north of Tupelo at US 45 and Mississippi Highway 145 as storms start to move in. So we're really about to get to see what these storms are packing now as these enter into Lee County. But a great view as they move in. That roll cloud honestly looks beautiful. This is looking off to the west along Interstate 22. This is at McLaughlin Boulevard, or McCullough Boulevard. Sorry, at Interstate 22. That's in the community of Belden. Back to the radar. Storms now strengthening as they get towards Baldwin and Saltillo. We're seeing the storm make a little bit of a resurgence here. You can see how that came together very quickly. This storm right here. This is the one I'm looking at. This storm really strengthened fairly quickly as now it's approaching US Highway 45. So if you're in eastern Alcorn County, southeastern Tippah County, or if you're towards Boonville, Baldwin, or Saltillo, you have a storm strengthening that's about to hit you. It still probably won't be to severe standards, but we might see lightning come back with this storm here very soon. And we're looking straight into it from this camera here in Saltillo. So this is what we're seeing with the storm there. Very, very strong storm is what it looks like, just straight ahead looking to the north. We'll keep those cameras over there on the left. As this roll cloud now moves over Belden, you can see that going over now and rain just off in the distance from Belden now. Here's the other severe thunderstorm warning we're tracking here in North Mississippi. This is going towards Batesville and Sardis right now. This is just south of Sardis, actually, about to enter into Batesville there, off of Interstate 55, also crossing over 55, and they have decided they are going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning now. Batesville, you're now in an updated severe thunderstorm warning. This also includes Water Valley. It also includes southwestern Lafayette County, just south of Oxford. So this storm is off to the west of Oxford, but expected to move south of Oxford, Mississippi. We'll see if we can get a view of the storm here to the west of Oxford now. Let's see if we have anything here. We do. So we'll put this right here. You can see the storm off to the west. Not the greatest view here from Oxford, but you can see the storm just off about 20, 30 miles west of Oxford. So sun's starting to go down. Some of these storms will start to lose a little bit of energy. One thing I want to point out, though, is this storm that's just north now of Saltillo, Mississippi. It has strengthened. There was no lightning originally a few minutes ago, but in the last few minutes, you've seen this storm really start to form back up. I'll circle it in pink right here. You can see that it went from green on the radar to oranges and reds. And we're now starting to see lightning once again with the storm. And so that one's going to be the middle camera over on the right-hand side. We're going to get a really, really good view of this storm within the next few minutes. Now, I don't know if it'll go right over the camera and if we'll get a really good shot of the conditions in there. But that's the storm we're looking at there on the middle camera, as seen north of Saltillo. That's about to cross over Highway 45. And we can kind of give a rough timing on when this exact storm will reach certain people ahead of it, because this seems like this is a storm that is strengthening. And so up ahead of it, Guntown 707, Baldwin 703, Marietta 716, Mentachie 723, Fulton 731 is the timing we now have on that one. Looks like you're about to see a tornado warning pop up on the screen above me, but don't worry, that is not here in Mississippi. That tornado warning is up there in Pennsylvania. Looking up towards Corinth, you still have a good storm over you right now that's moving off towards Burnsville and Iuka right now. And just off to the north in Tennessee, you still have a strong storm over Pocahontas, Raymer, and Chihuahua. That's about to move into the Corinth area with more lightning and possibly some small hail. Overall, if you're in this severe thunderstorm warning, just until it expires, really expect small hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Some of that hail may even get closer to an inch in diameter, if I'm going to be honest. It's not there for the severe thunderstorm warning, the severe thunderstorm warning says that hail is smaller than 3/4 of an inch, which is about penny size. But I believe there is possibly some strong hail within that storm. They are moving towards Corinth. Farther south, Batesville, Corinth, and Water Valley. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds being possible. Where those winds are is more than likely over Batesville right now. You could also see some fairly gusty winds over towards Takawa and Chapeltown. Really getting interesting with winds over Highway 35 right now, crossing over the Yokana River and heading towards Pope Crowder Road in southern Panola County. So here, look at these cameras over there on the left-hand side. Here in Belden, Mississippi, we're about to get a good view of some rain, at least, that's entering into the Tupelo area. And storms are honestly strengthening right now as they near Tupelo. We look at them back on the radar, and so I told you to the north that storm was strengthening. Storm's really strengthening now as they get towards the Tupelo area. So we'll see if these get back to severe standards. By time they get to Tupelo, they might still not be severe. But we do see strengthening storms that are starting to produce lightning getting into Lee County now. And so this is what it looks like. You're seeing the here in Lee County towards Belden, really getting windy. The Saltillo camera getting windy as well. And then here's the view from US 45 at Easton Boulevard. They're south of downtown Tupelo. You can really see that mothership cell moving into Lee County. Here's the conditions in Blue Springs right now. Gonna see if we can get a really good view of this storm. But this is basically right in the storm that we're looking into now, here from Blue Springs. It's kind of on the backside of the storm now. Really, the storm is over Sherman. Let's see if I can get a better view from Sherman, Mississippi. Maybe we'll get lucky here and see something. You just saw lightning actually down there towards Blue Springs. So here's what it looks like in Sherman as this storm starts to move in. It'll be very interesting to see how these cameras go right now, because you have these storms that are strengthening heading towards Lee County. If you're in Cortland, Mississippi, or Pope, Mississippi, or towards Enid Lake, you have a severe thunderstorm heading towards you now, crossing over Interstate 55. Quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds are the primary concern with this storm. Now, planning out for people ahead of it, this will be over Water Valley 723, Taylor 723. This will be over Cortland and Pope within the next 5 minutes. We're starting to see some hail now pop up along Mississippi Highway 30 over the community of Lebanon and Gville. So this is heading right towards Baldwin, Mississippi, with these purples on the radar that are moving right off to the east, about to cross over US Highway 45, Mississippi Highway 145, and across the communities of Frankstown and Wheeler. So here's what it looks like as storms near Tupelo, getting some fairly strong storms now. We should start seeing lightning on these cameras too, especially the Saltillo camera, really seeing some lightning off in the distance with it as this storm starts to really strengthen. One of the biggest things to see if a storm is strengthening or if it is strong is to look for lightning, and we're starting to see plenty of lightning with the cameras off to the right now. One in Bolden, Mississippi, one in Saltillo, and one in Sherman. Now, the Sherman camera is right there in Pontotoc County, but is just outside of Lee County over there on the western side. So all these cameras are kind of looking into the same storm, just in different angles. So if you're over here on the northeastern side of Mississippi, you have some fairly strong storms that are strengthening heading towards you. They'll be over Iuka, I'd say, within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Belmont 732, Red Bay 740, Marietta 719, Fulton 740, Mantachie 734. That's our timing with those storms. Look at this from the Bolden camera. You can see clearness on the left-hand side, but then a wall of rain across the screen. That is what's moving now into the Tupelo metro area. Let's see if we can get some better angles here. Look at this camera from Tupelo. This is at US 49 and Easton Boulevard. You can see the screen off, or you can see the storm off in the distance. Now, that looks like to be a very potent storm that's entering in towards Tupelo. Now, currently not severe thunderstorm warned, but we'll see if it strengthens into severe standards. Anyways, I'd still think that there's small hail possible in that storm, and definitely heavy rain. That's going to make it hard to drive, as we are now sitting at 7 o'clock. Lots of people probably traveling around here on a Saturday night. Looking back over here towards the Delta, the severe thunderstorm warning has now reached, or the severe thunderstorm itself has reached Batesville and Cortland and is now crossing over Interstate 55. There's a crossover Water Valley by 729 and Taylor by 728. So we have two complexes of storms once again. You have the storm out here entering into the Tupelo area that spans from just west of Tupelo all the way up to Corinth, Mississippi. And then you have another storm out here that's going to probably more than likely pass south of Oxford. And so you have two little complexes here, two lines that are moving off to the southeast. Here we go from Bolden. You're seeing that rain now take up the entirety of the screen just off in the distance. It's going to be very interesting to see how gusty the winds are, how heavy is the rain. Can we see any hail with this camera? Considering this is a strengthening storm heading towards Tupelo, this is going to give us some very important information here in the next few minutes. If you're in Oxford right now, honestly, you're looking pretty good. Looking like the storm off to your west is going to pass south of you. So if you know anyone there at Ole Miss, it looks like they're going to miss these severe thunderstorms for now. Maybe you get some heavy rain later on in the evening. But a lot of the energy at that point will be taken up by these storms. I would not be shocked if in the next little bit we happen to get a severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this line. Maybe for portions of Lee County, for Monroe County, I believe that is. For Monroe County and for Itawamba County. I wouldn't be shocked if we get some severe thunderstorm warnings here before too long. Look at that lightning on the Bolden cam. That's this complex we're tracking right here. It's not severe thunderstorm warned farther south. You do still have the severe thunderstorm warning up here for Corinth. That expires in 7 minutes. But I mean, we have heavy rain that spans all the way from Corinth down to Pontotoc at this point. But also lots of lightning in these storms as well. So if you're traveling along Interstate 22, if you're traveling along US Highway 45, very heavy rain once you get north of Interstate 22 and north of Tupelo. It's moving to the south fairly quickly at about 40 miles an hour. Going to see if we can get a better view of this storm from Tupelo. Here we go. This is a little closer, a little farther north. Getting a great view of this cell. Wow, that storm honestly looks beautiful. That is a perfect kind of mothership, spaceship type look into the storm. And speaking of, they just issued a new special weather statement, which is this blue box. 50-mile-an-hour wind gust in this system possible. So if it keeps strengthening, we could see that severe thunderstorm warning like I was talking about out ahead of the storm moving into Tupelo. Here's what it looks like in Bolden. This storm now starting to really move in, starting to shake around the camera. We're starting to see people slow down. Let's see if we lost connection to the camera in Saltillo. All right, looks like we lost connection to the camera there in Saltillo for right now, so we'll have to look at something else. We still have all the cameras here in Tupelo. I'll make sure we get some good views here. I know the two cameras we're looking at, camera 2 and number 3, look fairly similar, but that's the views we have for right now as those storms get towards Tupelo. I would not be shocked, like I said, if we end up seeing a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Lee County and maybe even for Itawamba County as well. If the storm continues to strengthen, it would look about something like this as the storm moves through. So if you're in Mentachie and Fulton, or if you're in Tupelo or Smithville, maybe even Verona, you have a strong storm moving through. It's not severe yet, but 50-mile-an-hour winds are possible right now. We could see the storm strengthen and become severe once again. If you're out ahead of it, Mentachie 727, Fulton 734. That's your rough timing. This is entering into Tupelo right now. Right now, with the other severe thunderstorm warning there in southern Panola County, you have very, very strong winds over Cortland and Pope right now, moving off to the southwest. This is about to cross over Enid Lake. So if you know anyone west of Water Valley, a very strong storm about to move over them right now with potential wind gusts up to and over 60 miles an hour. Maybe even some small hail, maybe even up to an inch in diameter, honestly, with that storm. Here's the conditions inside the storm in Belden, Mississippi, just off to the west of Tupelo. Visibility going down pretty quickly. The roadways also becoming flooded fairly quickly. Lots of people running their flashers now at this point. Now, not too terribly windy from what it looks like, but definitely a pretty potent storm. Here you can see it from Tupelo. This is looking north from US 45 and US 278. You can see that storm off to the north. Nice lightning with it as well. It's kind of interesting. I think the cameras are synced up where lightning would strike first at the top camera, then the second camera, then the third camera going down. Very interesting. You can definitely see that the two bottom cameras are about a second off of each other. Very cool. So yeah, a very strong storm getting towards Tupelo now. It has reached the Bogan Estates apartments. It has now reached the airport. It's about to cross over the airport. So now, since we're here in Tupelo, let's give you a rough timing for everyone near the Tupelo area. This will be over Bissell in the next minute or so. Forest Hill 717, Priceville 719, Lakewood Park 722, Plantersville 722, Mooreville 725, Leewamba Subdivision 727, Haven Acres 720. I'd say Verona about 721. Here's a camera in Tupelo, I-22 at Cooley Road. This is what it looks like inside the storm. Very heavy rain, but honestly, doesn't look too bad. Maybe there is some hail in there as well. At least right here, it's not too bad just yet, but we're starting to really see the roadways get flooded. So that could change fairly quickly. New special weather statement up here for Corinth, Burnsville, and Iuka. Severe thunderstorm warning over Corinth just expired, so now just a special weather statement up there. That is for Tishomingo County and Alcorn County, Mississippi. That's for 50-mile-an-hour winds possible in the storms that are moving through Corinth right now, moving off to the east towards Burnsville and Iuka. So the one severe thunderstorm warning we still have right now is going to be over Cortland, moving towards Water Valley and Taylor. Thank you. And so that's what's moving to the southeast up here towards Water Valley. All right, here we go from Tupelo once again, the camera we just looked at. It has gotten worse since we last looked at it. Traffic really slowing down. Lots of people turning on their flashers, and wow, lots of lightning with the storm. I think that's probably a primary concern, is going to be lightning. New update to the severe thunderstorm warning. Still just 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds possible with the storm that has moved through Panola County. It is now entering into areas like Water Valley there in northwestern Yalobusha County. So now this is moving into Yalobusha or Water Valley and eventually going to move down towards Coffeyville. I'll be completely honest. I think we will see a severe thunderstorm warning very soon for most of Lee County and for Itawamba County and for northern portions of I'm sorry, I cannot remember what this county is to save my life right now. I don't think this is Monroe County. Let me double check what the county is. I don't want to get the county wrong, but it would be for Smithville and for Amory. It is Monroe County. I am right about that. So I'm expecting a severe thunderstorm warning for Lee County, Itawamba County, and for northern Monroe County here within the next little bit. They might not think it's too severe standards just yet, but we are seeing some conditions in this storm that are pretty rough at this point. If you have any questions, make sure to put it in the chat. I'll answer them as fast as I can. Here's what it looks like across Cortland and Pope. We're seeing these purples back on the radar. Those purples right there. That is indicating to me that this storm is still fairly strong and more than likely has some hail in it and maybe even some large hail possible in there. We're seeing a good bit of purple. And so that is moving down towards Water Valley right now. Shout out to the invisible ghost behind me that just handed me a water. A very sweet ghost that just got me some good old H2O. I wouldn't have made it through this without some water. But anyways, if you're in Water Valley in northern Yalobusha County, you have a fairly strong storm still moving your way. If you're over there towards what is this, Lake Enid Lake, sorry, you have some good old lightning really getting towards you very quickly and a very strong storm moving towards Enid Lake and Water Valley. That is for northern Yalobusha County. Lots of lightning with the storm over there in Tupelo, but it's still not severe as of right now. We have some great views of it here from US 45 and US 278. You can see that storm just off to the north. Lots of lightning associated with it, but for right now, not severe, or at least not severely warned by the National Weather Service. But I think we're getting fairly close to that point where we could definitely see extreme wind gusts in the storm. I mean, in the cloud base, we're seeing 60-mile-an-hour winds now. So I think at this point, you need to treat this as a severe thunderstorm if you're there in Lee County, or if this storm is moving into your area towards Mentachie and towards Fulton, or even for northern Monroe County. Lots of lightning. This storm has strengthened very quickly, and we're even starting to see hail and winds over 60-mile-an-hour in the cloud base. Back towards Water Valley, I think we're seeing a fairly strong storm coming together now in northern Yalobusha County. This storm's been going for a while. We watched it ever since it was in Arkansas. And it's now really chugging along now as it goes through from the Delta, now moving into central Mississippi as it gets towards Water Valley and Coffeyville, and will eventually head towards Bruce, Pittsboro, Derma, and Houston. Now, we still got a long time till it gets there, but we can give you a rough timing on when the storm will get up ahead. So we have Water Valley 7:33, Oakland 7:36, Coffeyville 7:40, Bruce 7:58, Pittsboro 8:01, Derma 8:08, and Houston 8:26. For communities maybe even closer to this storm, this is over Long Branch now. It'll be over Velma 7:34, Pine Valley 7:43. And now we're really getting a light show over there on the right-hand side of the screen. Lots of lightning in this storm. It's not a very big storm in terms of how wide it is. And there it is. Speaking of, the severe thunderstorm warning I said I thought we would get. And now a severe thunderstorm warning there for Lee County. If you're in Saltillo, Guntown, or Baldwin, you're honestly behind the worst of the worst on this storm. So if you're in Tupelo, Mentachie, Fulton, Tremont, over there in Itawamba County, or if you're in Lee County, severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds. They believe the hail is under an inch in diameter, but I would still say large hail possible in that storm within the next little bit as it continues to strengthen. And so that's the new severe thunderstorm warning now. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings across North Mississippi as of right now. We have seen the storm basically go from extremely weak after it kind of imploded on itself as it moved towards New Albany, but now we're seeing lots of lightning, and I mean an absolute lightning show here in Tupelo. I think this will be a great camera to see lots of lightning here very quickly. Getting, I mean, probably 10 lightning strikes a minute, if I had to guess, is what we're seeing in this storm. So, very strong storm that has been strengthening as it moves through Lee County. If you have any questions, make sure to send them in the chat. If you need a forecast for a certain location, if you need to know what's going to happen in the next little bit, make sure you ask questions. I love answering questions, as many as I can. That's what I kind of try to focus on, is answering people's weather questions that we have across the area. Still, possibly some large hail over Hubbard Creek, Long Branch right now there in northern Yalobusha County. Now, this is moving off to the south very quickly, about to cross over. I believe that is Mississippi Highway 32. Let me double check. Yes, about to cross over Mississippi Highway 32, just near Water Valley Landing. If you happen to be near County Road 48, or if you happen to be County Road 225 there in northern Yalobusha County, you get some pretty nasty hail as this system heads near you and continues on towards Water Valley. Looking back over towards Tupelo and Manatee, that's what we have all the cameras on over here to my right-hand side, on the right-hand side of the screen. We're looking at that storm over there. I mean, you're seeing lots of lightning over there. And all three cameras are focused on Tupelo, so, I mean, one lightning strike becomes three instantly because they're all kind of looking at the same things, just at different angles. So, we're getting great views of that storm as it moves through. Wow. What a lightning strike there that we were seeing. If you enjoy looking at lightning, we have it over there for sure. Storm entering into Manatee right now. If you're in Fulton or in Tremont, this will be over you within the next few minutes. 7:33 for Fulton, Tremont 7:45. Here we go with some smaller communities. Van Buren 7:37, Cardsville 7:41, New Salem 7:44, Tilden 7:41. Let's go with Academy 7:47, Oakland 7:46, Bounds Crossroads 7:48, and then Scottsville, Alabama 7:54. I'm starting to feel like we may see an upgrade on this Water Valley storm for potentially large hail. Now, I do got to point out, at this point, we are far away from any radar site here over northern Yalobusha County, so we are seeing lots of purple here on the radar, and I usually use that to indicate large hail. And I do believe we may be seeing some large hail with this system, but the lack of lightning makes me question a few things. But as this heads towards Water Valley, we're seeing the potential for large hail in this system. As it just crossed over Interstate 55, it's now on the east side of 55, but it is now traveling along Mississippi Highway 32 towards Water Valley. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. What should Mississippi expect tomorrow evening? Central Mississippi, sorry. I know tomorrow we have a risk for severe weather in South Mississippi. Let's take a look at that real quick. South Mississippi, I know there was a marginal risk earlier. Here's what it looks like so far. So this is for tomorrow. Of course, we'll have a forecast video out for that. Maybe a quick little reel, but I'm going to start getting into forecast videos a little more, some longer videos of explanation. This shows a marginal risk for our Florida parishes of Louisiana and for South Mississippi, which means we would be live again tomorrow covering severe weather. Central Mississippi, as of right now, is in this light green area. That is a risk of general thunderstorms. Technically not a severe weather risk, just meaning something that forms could have lightning with it. Now, we'll wait till tomorrow because usually how it goes here in the summer is you don't really know until the day of, because you got to think, this system that we're watching up here is under a slight risk for severe weather. It's a level 2 of 5. Yesterday evening at this time, it was labeled as general thunderstorms. So they tend not to show the risk until the day of. And so I think that's what we'll see tomorrow. We have to wait to see what the conditions really are in the morning before we know exactly what's going to happen down here. Now, if the trends are correct, and this could change, we might not even see severe weather tomorrow. I'm not very sure. But if the trends are correct, we should probably see this risk probably pushed farther north. Generally, that's how it goes. We start to see the odds kind of become bigger on the day of. So we'll probably see this marginal risk possibly shifted up towards central Mississippi. And who knows, we could even see a slight risk, that yellow level 2 of 5 across South Mississippi. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I have not looked at tomorrow yet. I've been so busy getting ready for the live stream today. So I don't know really what the forecast looks like myself yet. I'll be able to look at that after the live stream today. But I know as of right now, it shows central Mississippi with just thunderstorms tomorrow, nothing severe. But I would really check in the morning on the Facebook page or keep updating the YouTube and see if we do have a severe weather risk. But I do plan on being live tomorrow if we have any severe weather risk across Mississippi, which seems likely. Anyway, still got the severe thunderstorm moving into central Itawamba County right now. If you're in Mentachie, you're in the middle of that warning. Fulton, it's about to go down pretty quickly there. You're about to get hit by the storm pretty good. And then as it continues, this will be over Tremont by 7:46. Van Buren 7:38. Within the next 5 to 10 minutes, it'll get there. Tilden 7:41. Academy 7:48. We have an update on the storm over here. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Water Valley, Coffeyville, Bruce, and Pittsboro. So I was talking about how this storm over here near in Yalobusha County looked pretty good. Well, the National Weather Service agrees. They have extended a new severe thunderstorm warning as this storm continues off to the southeast. So now that is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This storm is moving at 40 miles an hour. That is for southwestern Lafayette County, Yalobusha County, western Calhoun County, and southeastern Panola County. So now, once again, to 3 severe thunderstorm warnings, but really only 2 storms. They'll probably cut off this old severe thunderstorm warning here in the next few minutes. So here's the good news, and at least what it seems like tonight, as we might continue to see some forms of rain across North Mississippi, but it looks like after this storm up north passes out of the state of Mississippi, then this storm that's here over north central Mississippi will be the only storm that we have to track for the rest of the evening as it heads off to the southeast towards Starkville and Columbus. I've added a view from Oxford, Mississippi into the storm. You can see it off to the west here from Oxford. Not the best view. Oxford's north of the storm that we're tracking over Water Valley, but kind of gives you an idea on what's off in the distance there from Oxford. Luckily, Oxford, Mississippi does not look like it will have much bad weather tonight. After today's updates on the Weather Network, we now have 207 cameras over 73 locations. I think it was in the 50s at the beginning of the day. So I spent several hours adding cameras to the network, and so I'm glad that we can use them to show y'all what is going on with the weather across South Mississippi. Also, it's been way easier to show you guys conditions across the area. I'm glad that we've had this new system that we've put together. So now you're really getting some good views there. You just saw some good lightning there on that Oxford camera. Looking at winds now, where are we possibly seeing some very gusty winds? Well, looking at the storm here that is in Itawamba County and Lee County, we're seeing some fairly strong winds span all the way from Mantachie down to Fulton and also over Leewamba Subdivision, Lakewood Park, Greenwood, and Abney. If you're in Van Buren, Tilden, Cardsville, New Salem, Academy, Tremont, and Clay, you could see some fairly strong winds up to 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour before too long as the storm continues off to the east and rushes down Interstate 22. Back at the storm there in Yalobusha County, we see a big old hell core on the storm over Highway 32 right now. If you're in central Yalobusha County towards Velma, areas west of Velma, looks like you have some nice hail, some probably pretty decent sized hail over County Road 121 and County Road 57, as well as, sorry, can't get a name on that one, I guess, as well as County Road 58. So out there in the middle of Yalobusha County, between Interstate 55 and Highway 7, looks like there's some pretty decent hail that's about to either cross into Water Valley or just south of Water Valley. Out ahead of this, we have rough timing for communities up ahead. Benwood 752, Pittman 753, Ellard 754, Bruce 759, Pittsboro 802, New Liberty 811, Calhoun City 809, Vardaman 816, Reed 810, Lloyd 810. I think I mentioned Calhoun City 809. What area are we talking about right now? We're looking at two severe thunderstorm warnings. One over here in northeastern Mississippi, over here from Mantachie, Fulton. And then we also have another severe thunderstorm warning over Water Valley. Anyways, lots of lightning we're seeing from all these cameras across the area. We're seeing it on both Tupelo cameras and on the Oxford camera. Plenty of lightning with these storms, very electric, and that's probably one of the most dangerous thing with these storms is going to be the lightning. But you also have probably 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds in with these storms, so that can also knock down some trees, and especially when you get lots of rain very quickly, you can get the soil pretty moist fairly quickly, so you got to be worried about trees falling down. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm open to answering any weather questions we have right now regarding these storms as they move through. Like I said, if you're in Itawamba County, the storm's moving through fairly quickly. If you're along Highway 25 or Highway 76, this is going to cross very quickly as the storm races off to the east. Still looks like the primary wind gusts are south of Fulton, spanning from Mississippi Highway 371 over to Mississippi Highway 25 towards Tilden, Van Buren, and Cardsville. This seems to be where the strongest winds are. This blue area as it moves off to the east towards Academy, New Salem, and Turon. That's where you're going to see issues. Is that area moving off to the east? And so if you're in Tilden, New Salem, Turon, or Academy, like I just mentioned, you need to be inside. You need to get everything inside you can really quickly as the storm moves in. So we're probably about halfway through the stream in terms of the storm that's south of Oxford. That one's moving fairly slowly. However, the storm that's up here towards Fulton and now it's the west side of Tupelo has been moving fairly quickly. What are we? We're at the 2.25 hour mark on this live stream. So these storms have been moving fairly quickly. I'll be honest. I mean, it's been um, a minute. They're only moving at about 40 to 45 miles an hour, but they're moving across the state at a fairly decent pace. We have a new thunderstorm here over Mississippi Highway 8, just over to the west of Grenada now. This will be interesting to see what this storm does as it drifts over to the east. So if you're in Grenada, you got a good storm over to your west now that could keep strengthening. If you're in the community of Oxbury, or if you're along Wolf Lake Road, looks like you could have some small hail starting to pop up now. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. All right, I am back. Once again, sorry about that. Um, I do have to eat, so I'm taking like 30 seconds at a time to turn off the camera and turn off the mic and get some food because I would not be able to do this if I did not eat just a little bit. So, anyways, new severe thunderstorm warning now as we continue along Interstate 22. There's a severe thunderstorm warning in Alabama for Hackleburg, Hamilton, Gwynn, and Winfield. So this is downstream of usually where we cover, but it's for Marion County, Alabama, Fayette County, Alabama, and Lamar County, Alabama. So if you have any people you know up there in northwestern Alabama, tell them a pretty decent storm with lots of lightning is coming their way within the next 15 minutes to an hour. Looking back at the velocity on the radar, you got a very strong thunderstorm still moving over there towards Alabama. That is about to enter into Amory, Smithville, and Hatley within the next few minutes. I honestly think wind gusts 70 up to 70 miles an hour are possible with this storm. Over here, the storm over Yalobusha County has now entered into Water Valley and Coffeyville. It is continuing on to the east fairly quickly now at this point. As we continue on, it'll be over Bruce by 8:02, Pittsboro 8:05, Schoona 7:57, Ellard 7:56, Pine Valley 7:47. You're within the next 3 minutes. Reed 8:13, Lloyd 8:12, New Liberty 8:14, Calhoun City 8:11. They have cut off part of the severe thunderstorm warning here for Lee County. Lee County is now no longer in a severe thunderstorm warning. However, for southern Itawamba County and northern Monroe County, you have some pretty strong winds that I'm about to circle right here. If you're in southern Monroe County, or if you're northern Monroe County or southern Itawamba County, even if you're not in the severe thunderstorm warning, you have fairly gusty winds entering into Smithville right now. It is possible that they do get to the ground, but at least up into the cloud base, you have 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts coming out of the storm. So that's why I'm saying if you're in southern Itawamba County or northern Monroe County, you need to be inside as the storm moves through. Because it looks like we have a fairly strong storm moving through. We'll see if they issue a new severe thunderstorm warning for it. And it's right on the radar at this point. A very strong storm. The radar is right here, just outside of Aberdeen. So we're basically right on it when it comes to the radar. We're as close as we can be. We're honestly getting to a point where maybe we're even too close to the storm that it's hurting it a little bit in terms of what we can see. Now, I got to point this out. You're seeing the strongest part of the storm over here down in Itawamba County. However, to the north, oh my word, over southern Tishomingo County, there are so many lightning strikes, spanning all the way from Paden through Tishomingo to Belmont. So much lightning with this storm, and while it's not severe thunderstorm warned, there's an absolute light show in southern Tishomingo County right now. Here's what it looks like in Tupelo looking off to the east. So this is looking towards Tishomingo County right now. A lot of lightning for the storm that's over Fulton. If you know anybody at Itawamba Community College, I would call and just check on them. Make sure they're inside. College students should not be running out in this weather. And there we go. You remember how I was talking about the storm for southern Monroe County and for northern Monroe County and for southern southern Itawamba County. That's what I was talking about. They did issue the severe thunderstorm warning for what I was talking about. The wind gust that I was seeing with this storm. So they have now issued a severe thunderstorm warning right where I was talking about. Southern Itawamba County and northern Monroe County. New severe thunderstorm warning. I believe this is for 60-mile-an-hour winds. It is. It expires in 28 minutes. So Smithville, Amory, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning now for winds from the storm to the north. This includes Hatley, Priestville, Greenwood Springs, Quincy, Rock Springs, Sipsey Fork. I'll plan this out for people right ahead. Now, the winds might get here before that, but in terms of where the rain is with this storm, Smithville 753 within the next 5 minutes, and I know it's already getting windy there. Amory 757, Hatley 758, Gatman 813, Detroit 810. That is in Alabama. Maybe even a little closer. Rocky Springs 802, Splunge 806, Riggins 804, Sipsey Fork 809. That is in Monroe County, Mississippi. Just got a new special weather statement up here in Alabama that includes Phil Campbell and Red Bay. I know this is in Alabama, but I'll still mention it real quick. That is for, let's see, for Franklin and Colbert County, Alabama, or Franklin and Colbert counties in Alabama for 40-mile-an-hour winds. And so after these storms move out of Mississippi, at least the ones up north, I mean, we still got the severe thunderstorm warning throughout Itawamba County and for northern Monroe County. Those storms are still strong. Plenty of lightning and possibly wind gust up to 60 miles an hour, if not higher. And then you also have the storm up above that is in southern Tishomingo County. That is over Belmont. I mean, lots of lightning with that storm. You need to stay indoors. After those move into Alabama, we then have one storm left that is just kind of cruising through Mississippi right now. It is completely over. What is this? Sorry. It's completely over Yalobusha County right now, but is about to move into Calhoun County. Now, like I said, if you're in Bruce, Pittsburgh, or Derma, be aware this storm's going to be over you within the next 30 minutes. It's going to be right on top of you, and there is potentially some large hail in here. If we look at it, you can see these purples on the radar, some lightning. I wouldn't be shocked if we are seeing hail anywhere from about a half an inch to an inch in diameter in that storm. The other concern is going to be winds. Now, if we look at the radar, you can see some gusty winds here over New Hope and Benwood. The hail and the gusty winds are in two different locations from what it seems. Just be aware of that. But it's kind of a messy storm. You're kind of having the gusty winds up ahead of the storm and then the hail hits from what it seems. So that's what we're seeing right now. If you're along Highway 330 between Coffeyville and Bruce, this storm is moving right down the road. It is entering in the New Hope now. Benwood, it's going to start raining soon. Pittman and Schoona. If it hasn't started raining or if the wind hasn't reached you, it is about to in the next few minutes. I'm going to look at some of these airports and see if we've gotten any wind gust reports. I don't think we have. Yeah, nothing in terms of wind gust reports. Back to the winds in northern Monroe County and southern Itawamba County. You can see it right here. Those strong winds over Smithville right now, crossing over Highway 35. I would not be shocked if we're seeing damage, honestly, tree damage, maybe even property damage along Highway 25 in Smithville and also north of Smithville towards Cardsville and New Salem. That's also entering into Turon and crossing over Mississippi Highway 23 over towards, let's get some roads here. Bentonite Road is a road that this is crossing over now. So got some fairly strong winds right here north of Smithville and in Smithville. So if you're in northern Monroe County, like I said, and now northeastern Monroe County, be aware there's some fairly strong winds that are about to hit your location. If you have any questions, make sure to put them in the chat. If you're tuning in for the first time and you're on YouTube, I ask that you like and subscribe if you like us. If not, feel free to comment and ask any questions. Go follow on Facebook. That's where we post daily updates. Still trying to get into YouTube a little more with longer videos. For tomorrow, or not for tomorrow, for Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook and would like to see us on a bigger screen, I ask that you go look us up on YouTube, go subscribe, and like the live stream on YouTube. Here's what the radar loop looks like as the storm moves off to the south and east. I'll give you a rough timing if you're out ahead of this storm. This will be over Hamilton, Alabama by 8:12. Gwynn at 8:25. Winfield 8:33. Sulligent 8:20. And that's all in Alabama. Hackleburg, Alabama 8:25. So that's just a rough timing for the friends that might be watching there in Alabama. But we're still focused on Mississippi here. Mississippi-focused severe weather coverage. If you're tuning in and you're in South Mississippi or South Louisiana, I know that's the primary viewer base we have, is those two areas. We do have a chance at severe weather tomorrow. I'll post about it in the morning. I'll make a video about it. I do plan on being live for South Mississippi weather coverage and South Mississippi coverage tomorrow. Maybe even Central Mississippi if the risk ends up there as well. What about Corinth, Mississippi? Power is out. There in Corinth, I honestly... Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Carthage for some reason. Sorry. Yeah, Corinth, you just had a really bad storm move through. I'm not shocked that you lost power. But I think you're good for the rest of the night. Now, some of this rain over towards Memphis, this light rain, might head your way, but therefore, Corinth, you're done for the night. You are good. I know you're out of power. That storm was very bad that just moved through. The good news is you're done for the night with severe weather. Maybe even done with thunderstorms as well. You might have some light rain move through later, but you're good in Corinth. You have the all clear for the rest of the night. Interesting. We have a new tail on this storm here over Okolona. Okolona. Not very good at pronouncing that. Gonna see if we see some more storms start to strengthen now as these head towards Aberdeen. You can see an outflow boundary here. I'm about to make this in pink. This is the outflow boundary here out of these storms. And so what this is doing is that's more than likely cold air out of a thunderstorm that moves ahead of it. And so that cold air then forces warm air to rise up in front of storms and then causes more storm formation. And so that's why outflow boundaries are important. And that's actually moving to the south towards Aberdeen and West Point, Starkville, and Columbus right now. And so one thing that's going to be interesting is if that outflow boundary has an interaction with the storm that's near Water Valley and Grenada, we could see the storm strengthen, or we could see some formation here along Highway 8 in the next little bit. Just, it's possible, but just interesting. I'm curious to see what we see and if this system kind of combines as a whole, because if it does, we could start to see storms shift farther south, and then we could see storms make their way towards areas like Vaden, Kosciuszko, Louisville, Starkville, West Point, Columbus, the entire Golden Triangle, maybe even Macon, and I don't know, maybe as far south as Philadelphia. I don't know if there's the energy down there for that, but we could see storms make it farther south if this keeps forming up and getting stronger. You're welcome. I'm glad I can let you know what's going on up there. Let's see. We just hit the 2.5 hour mark on the live stream. It is now 7:57 p.m. We've been with the same cameras for a while over there on the right-hand side, but those are really the only cameras we have in the vicinity of any of these storms. Unfortunately, I do not have the North Mississippi Storm Chaser cameras connected to our system just yet, because I have to make sure I have them credit whenever we open up their cameras. So I wasn't able to get that done just in time, but we do have plenty of MDOT cameras, and I'm more than happy to see a partnership with them and making sure they grow as we grow, because their cameras are great, and what the North Mississippi Storm Chasers do is honestly amazing. So like I said, we still have two complexes moving through. You got this complex up here spanning from almost Aberdeen up to Russellville, Alabama. And now you have the second line over here in Water Valley, and it's going to be interesting to see if we see those two connect or not here in the next little bit. Fulton and Manatee there in northern Itawamba County, you are now out of the severe thunderstorm warning. You are basically in the all clear for the rest of the night. Let me go ahead and show you who's all clear. If you are behind these storms, you are in the all clear. In any of this area, I'm shading in black. So Oxford, you're in the all clear. New Albany, you're in the all clear. You're all good. Even Greenwood, Mississippi, you're in the all clear. So that's what we're seeing right now. Anybody behind these or to the west, you're in the all clear for the rest of the night. Let's see what the Storm Prediction Center is looking like right now. So what we're seeing is the storm here over Water Valley and Grenada should be moving into this marginal risk for severe weather before too long. So we might see its ingredients start to move out, but it is possible we see storm development here in central Mississippi in the next hour or so as the storm continues to the south. Now, I don't believe we're going to see any new storm development, which is good, but we're going to continue to see what we're watching grow, if that makes sense. And so just a reminder, if you're wondering where I'm looking, and then that's fair. Straight in front of me is where the radar is, which I'm drawing on like I can write high on it. That's right in front of me. That's what I'm looking at. Now right here, this angle right here, like a 45-degree angle, is where the monitor is, where I can see your comments and see what the stream looks like. It's where basically my controlling software is. And now all the way over here, 90-degree angle, whenever you can see my sideburns and all, is the camera system, which is what I'm working with. So not everything's right in front of me, unfortunately. I have to work with what I have, but that's why I'm looking side to side. If you're just curious, or if it's getting on your nerves, that's fine too. So lots of lightning now over Mississippi Highway 330 and near Grenada Lake, just north of Grenada Lake. So I think we might see a new severe thunderstorm warning issued here before too long for this storm. I think we might see it for western Grenada County, and then all the way for areas like Derma, Calhoun City, Walthall, and Eupora. We could start seeing a severe thunderstorm down that way as these storms continue on to the south. Now, I don't know if it's going to die out and if we're going to see the energy start to go away with this storm, but that is at least what we're seeing now. One thing I want to point out is the tail I was talking about that's been growing here on the storm connected to Smithville. So this tail over here that's formed to the west of Amory, we're now seeing lightning with it. So that's telling me we could continue to see storm growth over here, and we could see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for more of Monroe County as this storm continues to strengthen and continues to form up. And so if you're in Aberdeen, you're now more than likely going to see some heavy rain and lightning since the southern end of this storm has continued to strengthen. And speaking of, remember how I was talking about a severe thunderstorm warning getting issued? New severe thunderstorm warning. This one's for Grenada Lake and for eastern Grenada County. And it also includes north central Montgomery County and northwestern Webster County. So, severe thunderstorm warning for that storm over there over Grenada Lake. We can give a rough timing for this storm as it moves out ahead. And so we have Sweetman 8:15. Let's go Gore Springs 8:04. Alva 8:17. Spring Hill 8:22. Bellefontaine 8:29. Slate Springs 8:22. And so that's with that new severe thunderstorm warning down there in Grenada County. So now we're about to start being able to see these storms that are now moving towards the Golden Triangle, towards West Point, Starkville, and Columbus. I can even bring out one of the cameras over here towards. Do we have anything in Starkville that looks really good? Looking to the west. I don't think we do. Nothing looking to the west from Starkville, but I know we do in Columbus. I'll put that there in the middle. So here's the view from Columbus looking out to the west towards those storms moving towards the Golden Triangle. You can't see it too great anymore because it's now nighttime and dark. But that's what's moving off towards the Golden Triangle. I'll leave that over there in the corner. Oh, sorry about that. Apparently that camera in Tupelo is not working. Let's just go ahead and say that it is having a disco night. I don't think we will be looking at that camera for right now. Sorry about that. Update on the severe thunderstorm warning. They have cropped it now to not include Water Valley. So Water Valley no longer in a severe thunderstorm warning. We have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings across North Mississippi now. That includes Coffeyville, Bruce, Pittsboro. If you're in Coffeyville, you're good now. You're behind the storm. Ignore the severe thunderstorm warning at this point. But also severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Grenada County. Then you still have the severe thunderstorm warning for northern Monroe County. That includes Amory. And then you don't have a severe thunderstorm warning for Aberdeen just yet, but you do have a storm that's about to move through and drop heavy rain and possibly some lightning over Aberdeen. All right, so there we go. Special weather statement. I was wondering what we were seeing right here. So we're seeing a clash of weather forecasting offices here. Let me show you this. So this yellow box is issued by the National Weather Service of Jackson, because Grenada County and the areas south of that are all under the National Weather Service of Jackson. Now, the National Weather Service of Memphis has basically said, hey, we don't agree with what you're saying, Jackson. And they have issued a special weather statement because Memphis is in charge of Calhoun County. So they say for southern Calhoun County, for Big Creek and for Calhoun City, that, hey, this is just a strong thunderstorm, 50-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-size hail. Now, I would say that I honestly think that there is possibly hail up to an inch in diameter and 60-mile-an-hour winds possible in this thunderstorm moving towards Big Creek and moving towards southern Calhoun County. So that's what I would say. I would take it as if it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but currently you're just under a special weather statement in southern Calhoun. But I would suggest just getting inside and riding out this storm. Let's look at some wind gusts here. You still got some fairly gusty winds over Smithville, Mississippi right now, but now it is between Smithville and Riggins right now. If you're there in northern Monroe County or northeastern Monroe County, still possibly some gusty winds if you're over to the east of Smithville. I'm going to pull up one of these cameras real quick. I'm going to go and pull up the power outages once again so that we can see the updated number of power outages across the state. So here we go. We are up to 23,940 customers without power. I'll pull this up here. All right. We have 1,400 customers out in Quitman County, 653 out in Yalobusha, 874 out in Grenada. And we'll look at some of these new ones. Itawamba County, 3,226 outages. Tishomingo County, 1,412. Lee County, 845. Prentiss County, 200. Alcorn County, 224. Union County, 1,098 customers out. Tippah County showing only 2, and Benton County showing 16. Marshall County with 2,811 customers out. Panola County with 3,416 customers out. Yalobusha County, 653 outages. Tallahatchie County, 605. Quitman County, 1,398 outages. Tunica County, 291. And Coahoma County, 851. By EPA, Entergy with 7,500 customers out. Tallahatchie Valley EPA, 3,261. Tom Bigby, 3,228. North Central with roughly 2,700. Tishomingo with roughly 2,300. Northeastern Mississippi, 2,300 as well. Give me 1 second to get the radar back pulled up. And so here we are back with our 4 severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. We'll see if they drop the severe thunderstorm warning over northern Lowndes County. It does look like that storm has weakened, but we are seeing a pretty nice storm heading towards Aberdeen now. Here's the storm that I'm looking at. I'll put it in pink right there on the screen. This is the storm I'm looking at moving to the south towards Aberdeen and New Hamilton. It just popped up, meaning that it's more than likely not falling on itself just yet. It'll be interesting to see if we continue to see development between that storm and the storms over there in southern Calhoun County, because you can see an outflow boundary barely. I'll draw it right there. There's your outflow boundary. So it'll be interesting to see if we see any storms pop up south of Houston as that outflow boundary forces air to rise and possibly condensate. Speaking of that storm I was talking about, new special weather statement for Monroe County. That includes Aberdeen. That is for 50-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-size hail. So they think this storm is a little bit under severe standards. And so special weather statement now issued for central and southern Monroe County as that storm heads towards Aberdeen. Now, giving you a rough timing on where that storm could be. We have Aberdeen 8:19, New Hamilton by 8:28. And so that's where we are. And that will get to southern Monroe County, Lackley 8:23, Daracot 8:28, Mormon Springs 8:31. So looks like they're going to drop the severe thunderstorm warnings, or, well, I think they're just going to allow them to expire in 4 minutes. So more than likely, Smithville and Amory, you will be allowed to be out of a severe thunderstorm warning in the next few minutes. National Weather Service in Memphis has dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Bruce and Pittsboro, Mississippi. So no more special weather statement, or not special weather statement, severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County. The remaining severe thunderstorm warning is for Grenada County and for northwestern Webster County, as well as north central Montgomery County. Now, we'll see if National Weather Service Jackson cancels that warning. I'm not very sure. And so we might honestly go down to no severe thunderstorm warnings here very fast. All right, excuse me, give me 1 second. All right, I am back, not trying to scare y'all before I open up the camera. Sorry about that. I have to deal with something real quick. So still 3 severe thunderstorm warnings, but I mean, we have 2 that expire in the next 2 minutes. And so what I'm expecting to happen here very quickly, these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for Itawamba County and for Monroe County are going to be allowed to expire. Now, that doesn't mean we're done for the night necessarily, because you do have strengthening storms heading towards Aberdeen and heading towards the Aberdeen airport right now. So we might not be done just yet. We might have a little bit more time to go as these storms continue to the south. We are going to have a storm possibly hit the Golden Triangle region here before too long. Now, it's technically not severe anymore, at least according to the National Weather Service in Memphis. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning here for western Grenada County and for northern Webster County and northern Montgomery County. And so, honestly, I think they'll probably cancel this severe thunderstorm warning because it honestly doesn't look great on radar. Meaning, we could go down to no severe thunderstorm warnings here very quickly. Now, with that being said, doesn't mean we're done with thunderstorms tonight. You still have these 2 special weather statements for winds up to 50 miles an hour, and nickel-sized hail possible on both storms, meaning these are storms that are still possibly strong, just slightly under severe standards. All right, pulling up a camera from Starkville, Mississippi. This is what it looks like there in Starkville as of right now. No storms there yet, but we could start seeing some activity here soon. You see some lightning in the distance with that camera. New special weather statement here in Alabama that includes a large area that includes Vernon, Millport, Reform, Berry, and Carbon Hill. I'll go over this real quickly. This is for wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles an hour. That includes Fayette, Walker, Pickens, Tuscaloosa, Marion, and Lamar counties in Alabama. And so now the two severe thunderstorm warnings up here in northern Monroe and in southern, not Tishomingo, it's southern Itawamba counties have now expired. And so now we just simply have a special weather statement over Aberdeen and Amory for central and southern Monroe County. And that's for wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning over here for Webster County. And so that is for 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch size hail. However, the storm is not even in that warning. The storm is actually to the north right here, which is only a special weather statement. And so what should I tell you? I would honestly treat it as if there's 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds in this storm that is in southern Calhoun County. So if you're in Dentontown, Slate Springs, Calhoun City, I would consider being inside because you do have a strong storm heading your way. Same thing could be said for Aberdeen. I'm going to give you a rough timing on this storm as it continues to the south. Aberdeen, this will be over you within the next few minutes. Westville, 8:26. Greenwood Springs, 8:32. Lackley, 8:25. Mormon Springs, 8:34. New Hamilton, 8:31 as well. And so that's what we're seeing. And now, interesting, National Weather Service of Jackson is now putting a severe thunderstorm warning out for this storm. They believe that this storm is stronger than what Memphis may be saying. So that's why I said for southern Calhoun County, honestly, treat it as a severe thunderstorm warning. Jackson has issued a severe thunderstorm warning now for Wathall County. Not Wathall County, sorry. Definitely not Wathall County. That is South Mississippi. They have issued it for Webster County, all of Webster County, basically, at this point. That includes Bellefontaine, Wathall, Fame, Hohenlinden, Mantee, Mabin, and Matheson, as well as Eupora. So if you're out ahead of this storm, the one that just got warned, if you're in Bellefontaine, get till 8:25 to get prepared. Wathall, 8:30. Fame, 8:33. Eupora, 8:35. Matheson, 8:43. And Mabin, 8:45. Now, getting a little closer for some more communities. Cumberland, 8:43. Sherwood, 8:45. So your rough timing there. Double Springs, 8:50. And FIBA, 8:53 as well. And so now that leaves us with two severe thunderstorm warnings here in Mississippi, as we have this strong storm in southern Calhoun County now moving into Webster County. That is tracking along Highway 9. If you're in Slate Springs, it should start raining now. Spring Hill, you're in the same boat. So what should you expect with this storm in southern Calhoun County and now moving into Webster? I would suggest, and I would prepare that there is possibly 1-inch hail in here, and then also 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts with this storm. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's getting pretty slow at this point in terms of the storms across North Mississippi, so I have time now to answer any questions that may have arose. There we go. New special weather statement. This is for Columbus, Mississippi. Also Caledonia. So this is for um, Lowndes County as well as western or eastern Clay County. So eastern and central Lowndes County and eastern Clay County. You have a special weather statement now for 50-mile-an-hour winds. Due to the possibility of a strong thunderstorm moving through. That is until, say until 10 p.m. That says until 10 p.m. Eastern, or 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I know that's not correct because it says it expires in 55 minutes. So that might be a little wrong there. But they are watching the storm to the north moving over Aberdeen, moving to the south. And so we're getting to a point where we are getting close to the end of the night with the severe weather, which is good. It's interesting because we might be seeing another wave here over Arkansas moving through, but I'm not really sure how that will affect Mississippi. Now, let's do this. Let's pull out a model run. Let's pull out the HRRR and see what the HRRR is saying for the rest of the night. Yeah, it's thinking the storms are just going to fizzle out as they move to the south. So the storms over Arkansas will not be a problem for us more than likely. And they will continue on. And the storms that we're tracking will continue to track to the southeast. And so about what I expected. But we are seeing a fairly strong storm now over Aberdeen. However, no lightning. I don't think much lightning seen with it right now. And so that's interesting considering if there's no lightning, the storm is probably not as strong as it was earlier. And so we're getting to the point where across Mississippi, you're going to be able to go to bed. If you're worried about weather and that's a problem for you, you're going to be able to go to sleep. Good news is if you're in Greenville, Greenwood, Grenada, Clarksdale, Oxford, New Albany, Tupelo, Corinth, Hernando, the Memphis area, basically most of North Mississippi, and you've already seen storms today, you are good. You are in the all clear. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if some of the storms in Arkansas make it to Mississippi as thunderstorms. That's something we're going to have to watch, but for now, I think we're fine. We do have a new thunderstorm popping up towards Rosedale, Mississippi, but for now, we're fine. We'll actually put one of these cameras looking up towards that here in Leland. That's looking up to the north towards that new thunderstorm, so that'll be interesting to track there. Oh, whoops, sorry guys, did not mean to bring that camera back. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Sorry about that. I want to apologize once again. I don't know if anyone here is sensitive to light, and of course I would never want that to happen. Still watching this thunderstorm that's south of Calhoun City in southern Calhoun County. That's moving over Slate Springs. It is over County Road 372. You see these purples on the radar. We could be seeing some hail falling as this storm moves to the east towards Bentley, Hohenlinden, and Monte Vista. All right, just kind of looking at stuff, trying to make sure we're still good. If you're in Wathall or Eupora, it will start raining pretty soon. By 8:30 for Wathall is the estimation, and 8:36 for Eupora. I hope you're all having a good night. If you're watching, make sure to comment where you're from. I know a lot of people have gotten off the live stream because, I mean, we're starting to calm down across the area, which is great. But we're just trying to track these storms for the last little bit while they still have a little juice in them. Like I said, for Walthall and Eupora, rain starting soon, storms starting soon. For Bellefontaine, you're starting about right now. It should start raining and storming here at any second. Now here's a new storm that we're kind of tracking. It's just a storm. It's not severe by any means. That's a storm over towards Cleveland, Mississippi that we're watching. That's back over in the Delta. A great view from Leland, Mississippi right now. Anyways, new severe thunderstorm warning over here in Alabama. And I know Alabama's not what we cover. We focus on Mississippi. But if you know anyone in Double Springs, Carbon Hill, Jasper, Fayette, or Barry, Alabama, new severe thunderstorm warning as storms move their way for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Just something over there in Alabama that we're looking at. We still have not severe thunderstorm warnings. Sorry, we have one severe thunderstorm remaining here in Mississippi, but special weather statements out for a cell that's here just to the north of Aberdeen, moving off to the southeast towards Caledonia, towards the Columbus Air Force Base, and down towards Columbus. That storm has not really much lightning with it anymore, which is interesting. Seems like it's just not being able to stay strong. So that should be weakening before too long. Looks like storms are starting to run out of ingredients in central Mississippi. And we're going to look at estimated rainfall across the region, looking at storm total. Lots of areas have gotten some measurable amounts of rain, anywhere from about none to about a quarter of an inch. But we've seen some localized areas of more, like outside of Boonville in east of Boonville, sorry, about an inch and a half of rain. Corinth got slammed earlier today. Approximately 2 to 2.5, maybe even 3 inches of rain right near Corinth, if not in Corinth itself. And then over towards Helena and Helena West, or West Helena, sorry. We've seen anywhere from about an inch to an inch and a half there towards the Tunica County, Coahoma County lines. Like I said, the storm that's here that we're now tracking that's over Wathall and Eupora has been the slow mover of the night. This storm has been moving fairly slow. And we're honestly starting to see a new kind of line form here. It's kind of weird, stretching from Russellville and then it turns. And now we're seeing it even back into Arkansas a little bit. We're starting to see a front try to shape out here regarding the cold air and the warm air. So this is going to be interesting if we do see storms form across a line now, because we're seeing a fairly drastic difference between temperature, where I'll put it in blue. You have cold temperatures up here in North Mississippi from the storms earlier today, but now here in South Mississippi, I'll put it in pink. You still got fairly warm temperatures down here in central and southern Mississippi that the storms could latch onto. And so it's going to be interesting, because if you get a forcing mechanism and these storms kind of form up together, they could become strong. But looking at models, these are expected to become weaker as we go through the night, but you can't always trust the weather models. One tornado warning in the country, that is for Virginia. Tornado warning in Virginia right now. And so, anyways, we're back to one severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like the hail on this storm north of Walthall, Mississippi, in Webster County has kind of went away. We're not seeing any more purples on the radar anymore, so that's good. We could honestly start seeing these storms weaken as the outflow boundary in front of them starts to get too far ahead, because we could see these storms start to lose energy in terms of temperature. We're starting to see a cool down across the area. We're down into the mid 80s, lower 80s even at this point in central Mississippi. So overall heat energy on these storms is starting to go away as we go throughout the evening now. Let's do this real quick. I'm going to pull up this camera from Columbus, Mississippi, just real quick. I'm going to bring up the soundings from the Storm Prediction Center. Let's see what the sounding looked like in Jackson, Mississippi this afternoon. All right, so here was the sounding in Jackson. I'll bring it back up. Okay. So here's what the sounding looked for in Jackson. The photograph looks fine. You can't see that. That's off the side of the screen. But here's what it looked like in Jackson, and here's the problem. There's a good bit of energy, 2,400 joules per kilogram of CAPE. That can get storms going. However, the dew point's only at 68 degrees. Temperature was at 97, and that's even cooling down. So at this point, fairly soon, we're going to see a temperature inversion as the temperatures in the lower levels of the atmosphere cool down. So at this point, let's assume the temperature at the ground has cooled to about 82 degrees. We're probably now having a temperature inversion at the surface, which is probably going to limit storm development unless something crazy happens and can get storms up into the air. So that's what we're sitting with right now. I hope you enjoyed my TED Talk about that. So here we are back to the radar. We're going to keep babysitting this one storm that's here over Webster County for now. It's over Bellefontaine right now. That's where the strongest rain and probably some small hail is happening right now as it travels along Highway 9. It's entering into Walthall right now, as well as the community of Fame. If you're in Matheson, Maven, or Eupora, this storm is continuing to move off to the south east and could get to your location within the next 30 minutes to an hour. All right, back over here towards Aberdeen, lightning has started back with this storm as it moves to the south towards New Hamilton and Caledonia. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We might see some rain clip West Point, Mississippi, but we definitely have a decent storm now moving off towards Columbus, Mississippi. It's just north of the county line of Monroe and Lowndes County now. So we could see rain and storms make its way to Columbus within the next hour or so. So if that storm does make it to Columbus, we're going to have a view right on it in the middle camera, the camera number 2. Let's take a look over towards our camera in Leland, Mississippi. We've been looking at some storms over there. If I can find it. There we go. So here's Leland, Mississippi. We're looking off to the north. I'll circle Leland real quick. There's Leland. So we're looking right off to the north, out towards Cleveland, Mississippi. And that's what we're looking at, is we're looking at the storms just to the north that are crossing the Arkansas border into Mississippi. And so that's kind of what we're looking at with that bottom camera. Nothing really too bad expected with those storms. Maybe they'll just be a thunderstorm that'll move through tonight, but they're not expected to become severe, at least not as of right now, unless they latch onto this boundary that's rocketing south right now. Speaking of the storms we were just looking at, I now have a special weather statement on them. For the storm over Rosedale, moving into Gunnison, Shelby, and Mound Bayou. This also includes Duncan and Alligator. Great names. Absolutely great names on those storms. Shelby 848, Duncan 849, Alligator 853, and Mound Bayou 854 is the timing on those storms as of right now. We're looking at them down there. Camera 3 in the bottom right-hand corner is the camera that's basically pointed into these storms that are now characterized by a special weather statement. One second. All right. I am back, and right now, honestly, what I'm thinking is we might call it a live stream soon. We've been live for 3 hours and 10 minutes. Just wanted to get in and do some live streaming for North Mississippi as we try to grow a little bit of a following for North Mississippi. I'm not really expecting live streams that are going to break records for Magnolia State weather while we're doing North Mississippi, but it's nice to show people, hey, we can do North Mississippi, and people that might have people living up there. Keeping them informed is very important. As right now, one severe thunderstorm warning here for Wathall. That includes Webster County. That expires in 22 minutes. I honestly think, I don't know if that warning will make it for another hour or so. They might drop that warning before too long. Anyways, you guys keep an eye on the radar. I'm more than likely going to call it a night here. I'm definitely got to look forward to more stuff tomorrow. And we have another live stream tomorrow for South Mississippi. So anyways, you guys stay safe. And I'll come back live if I have to, but I don't think I will need to. But anyways, y'all stay safe and God bless. And make sure to keep updated on our severe weather risk tomorrow for South Mississippi and South Louisiana. So anyways, y'all have a good night and God bless.